What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matthew Spear, Olivia Spear in the house. Olivia's got her Khaleesi hair on, and that's all it takes to buckle me in the knees. And I just realized it again as I saw her in the photo, and I'm buckling in the knees. And other places. Let's just be transparent.
That's the point.
You look gorgeous and wonderful to have you here. It's been a day.
It's been a weekend.
It has. It's been a long weekend.
Holy moly.
Yeah, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show, folks. If you would not mind, please share this out on Twitter, Rumble, everywhere. Let's get it spammed, and let's get as many people as we can in here. We've got a lot to cover. We're going to cover the Boulder incident. We're going to cover a handshake, the Weiner roast, Zelenskyy wants troops, media flashback, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Bill Maher had a conversation and talks about J6. We're going to talk about that, too. The new studio is doing so well. I can't even begin to tell you. It's just very, very cool. I'm actually going to try to bring you in on the phone here in a second, just so you can see it. You're going to have to mine the sawdust and everything else. But we're going to bring you in. We're going to give you a live tour, and we can't wait for you to see it. It's not even it's only like 5% done. Olivia will tell you that this isn't even close to done. But going to give you a live feel.
The basics are up.
Well, in the sense of paint and trim and electrical. The lighting got installed today, and oh my God, that room is huge now that we have lights. I mean, it was like, we were like, is it too small once we painted it? And then we saw the lights, and we're like, oh no, this thing's a beast. And everything's going well, knock on wood, and we'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. And we try to do that in the first 10, 15 minutes of the show, and we'll catch you up on why. If you're like, what the hell's going on? We'll explain it. We'll see you in 3 minutes after all the intros. Thanks, folks. Be right back.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech, the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Good to see everybody here. We're going to start off with a story. We're going to start off with Zelenskyy. And I think that's a good start to this. And Olivia was going to share something with us in regards to this. So, Liv, why don't you go ahead and walk us? Well, let me just read this first, if that's okay with you. So, like, we can kind of set the premise.
Yes.
So everybody knows what's going on. So, New York Times, which, you know, I don't listen to most TV and newspaper articles because of this reason. And watch this. So Ukraine says it unleashed 117 drones in attack on Russia. And the strike set several aircraft on fire. Video showed and dealt a symbolic blow to Moscow's relentless bombing campaign. And it said it secretly planted a swarm of drones in Russia and then unleashed them in a surprise attack on Sunday, hitting airfields from eastern Siberia to Russia's western border. The strike set several Russian aircraft on fire, stunned the Kremlin, and dealt a strategic and symbolic blow to Moscow's relentless bombing campaign in Ukraine. Some are calling it as noble and bold as the Doolittle raid on Japan into Tokyo. I don't think that's even remotely close, but Russian officials said that there were no casualties and that the other Ukrainian attacks had been repelled. And the operation, Russia's defense ministry said on Sunday that Ukrainian drones had attacked airfields in 5 regions stretching across 5 time zones. Several aircraft caught fire, they keep saying that, in Murmansk, near the border of Norway, and Irkutsk in eastern Siberia, the ministry said. Some participants of the terrorist attacks were detained. Ukraine said that 117 drones were used in the attacks, and an official Ukraine security services, known as the SBU, said that dozens of aircraft had been damaged in the strikes. Dozens. Well, that's not that big of an attack then. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive intelligence operation. It was not immediately possible to independently confirm the Ukrainian claim or the details from Russian defense minister. New York Times verified videos. We've got a video to show you too, if you'd like to see that. And the plan was called Operation Spider Web. Drones were planted across Russia near military bases, and the Ukrainians said, and then activated simultaneously. Volodymyr Zelenskyy said on social media Sunday that planning had begun a year and a half ago. He called the results absolutely brilliant. We have some specifics of the case in the attack that you aren't going to read in the paper from a source. And Olivia is going to tell you about that as soon as we watch this. Those are Bear Foxtrots down below. Those are bombers, and they are high-altitude bombers. They've been in Russia service in the 60s. Wow, that's a pretty big fire. That's not 1 or 2 planes, folks. That's jet fuel. Oh, yeah. Those are Bear Foxtrots, and that is the bomber. Oh, that's more than just a plane on fire, folks. Yeah, so these are drones that drop small anti-personnel or grenade type devices, and that's all it's going to take to light up one of these Foxtrots. And these bombers are on standby, as they all are, because they're constantly doing runs in Kyiv and other places in Ukraine. So they are going to be fully fueled and ready to go. So not only are you going to have the Bear Foxtrots damaged, you're going to see secondary explosions on the runway, which are going to limit and slow down operations and air operations for the Russians. But those Bear Foxtrots, bear, not the bear as in grrr, but the bear as in to bear or to give or to own, it's going to bear most of their bombing sorties coming from that, obviously, that base. Now, Russia has 20, 30 bases all over the Russian peninsula and the continent of Eurasia, and it makes them very effective. But the Bear Foxtrots, I don't believe they have more than 100, 130 of them. So 12 going down, and let's say if Russia says it's 12, I would probably say it's closer to 30 or 40. And if that's the case, that's a very high percentage. So what happens is that drone goes in high rate of speed, has camera, has optics, and has a simple dropping mechanism that drops a grenade or an explosive device, whatever they decide to use. And some can be anti-personnel that'll put out shrapnel. Others will be incendiary grenades and things to that effect, or penetrating weight like a bowling ball, except it's 30, 40 pounds. And when it drops and it hits, and then whether it cracks or whether the detonator goes and the depth gator goes, when it hits zero, because it can recognize its own altitude, explodes. And that most assuredly from a 40, 50-foot drop go right through a bear foxtrot. So extremely effective. And we saw it in real time, and it worked. So Olivia, tell us what we're missing, because you said something that I didn't know, and you have to explain your source first of all, very delicately. And I would say no names, no locations, or how you know them, but just and go from there.
Okay, this source works for one of the alphabet agencies in DC. That's all I will say.
Well, as far as their influence, like who this person rubs shoulders with, would this be like, would we consider this person an A player, which would be President Trump's cabinet and Trump and other presidents? Would it be a B player who's like mid-level management in an intelligence capacity or law enforcement capacity? Would this be a rank and file, boots on the ground C player, D player who essentially is a clerk? Let me finish. Clerk or a tech, and then F player would be the janitor who happens to work in the building.
I would say he's a B player.
Okay, go ahead.
So apparently, Ukraine has been planning this for quite a while, over a year. I guess they have been secretly sneaking log cabins over the border into Russia as the guise of these log cabins.
Like log cabin homes?
Yeah, like log cabin homes.
Like modular, like...
Yeah, I guess just log cabins. And they've been sneaking the stuff over the border, building them, and so they've got log cabins all over the place. Well, these log cabins were filled with drones. And hidden right under Russia's nose. And I guess the day of the attack, the roofs opened and the drones flew up and bombed the airfields, and Russia lost 40% of its air support.
Well, bombing support is what we would...
So yeah, it was a very strategic, planned attack. I wouldn't say it's up there on the Israel pager attack.
No, God, that was much more.
But that's pretty darn close.
Yeah, I think it's similar. I mean, it's very similar.
Yeah, disguise building a log cabin, and I guess it was real close to a Russian intelligence agency as well. It wasn't like it was in the middle of a forest. It was close to...
Well, they did say it was close to bases. Like, so this could have been for humanitarian aid. This could have been a contract that was done by a private company. I mean, we don't know.
But yeah, they snuck it in, and yep.
So I'm getting a lot of questions of like, what does this mean? Well, what it means is very similar to Israel. Like, if Israel is a 9.5 to a 10 on their retaliatory overreaction, which they are, Russia's like a 7. You know, a 7, strong 7. Kiev's going to pay for this, right? They're going to hit Ukraine hard.
Yes, and tells me they're not going to be a ceasefire anytime soon at this point.
This is what I foresee. What Vladimir would do is he would drop a hyperbaric bomb that would take out a solid square mile. That's the type of reaction to take out his nuclear deterrence, which a Bear Foxtrot most assuredly is. And although their ICBMs and long-range and intermediate missiles are absolutely critical to their success, and their sub-deployment with their short-range medium ballistic missiles, those are important. Those are their delivery factors. But Bear Foxtrots are second and third and ancillary deployment vehicles for nuclear warheads. So it is a very large part of their deterrent. And the fact that they just lost, multi-million-dollar aircraft, even though it is 65 years old, it's still highly effective. It's one of the most efficient long-range bombers on the planet. And although it doesn't have any stealth capability, it always flies with MiGs, and it has some defensive. Sandra Edwards, thank you for your donation of $5.65. Thanks for getting us started off. So, in my opinion, this is going to receive a very harsh and quick reaction.
Yeah. I would think.
Aren't they concerned that Putin has nukes? No, because nuclear response is not going to be for Ukraine. Now, is it possible that Vladimir Putin would launch a nuke well, sure, everything's possible. Psychological profile says that he is narcissistic. He's not homicidal to a point of just randomly killing for no reason, but his is always about Mother Russia and the expansion of Russia and bringing back the Russian bear and the once great Iron Curtain. I mean, that's all ex-KGB Politburo and Spetsnaz type guys think about. I mean, that's basically they rub lotion on the skin type content for them. But to launch a nuclear warhead, which will absolutely create a nuclear holocaust, if you launch on any NATO country, we'll be in a full-scale nuclear war. I mean, that's just it. It's we'll launch our birds, early strike. We will wipe the shit out of Russia.
What do you think is going to happen at this point with what you think Russia's going to retaliate with?
A hyperbaric bomb.
Okay, and then where's that going to go from here? Is this going to escalate with other countries
Ukraine.
getting involved?
If he starts launching, if he launches 9 hyperbaric bombs on the top cities in Ukraine, this war is over because he's going to kill 40,000 people in one night.
And then what happens at this point? Nothing.
Ukraine will have to come to the table, and so this might. But you're also going to see, you will see tensions with Russia be so incredibly insurmountable. You might see NATO act without the United States. That they would consider it to be attack on a sovereign nation, and either the United Nations would get involved, or Europe would get involved. But if he decides to go ahead and vaporize 40,000 people in one night, you're going to see a pretty. These aren't Muslims after all. You know, these are Europeans, and whether you love them or not, they're Russian. And it would be, you know, the thing about Israel is that it's a slow drip. You know, kill 200 here, kill 300 there. And even though that certainly matters to the 200 and 300 people and all their families and relatives, to us, we're like, oh, well, you know, that's it. But when you see 40,000 people die in one strike, that is like a genocide extremely quickly. So it's a rip the Band-Aid off situation, but it also causes an immense amount of pain. And you're really just, you're kind of, it's a shock to the system. So if he did that, there would be retaliation, and the United States might very well get involved. I don't know. Okay. I don't think that the United States is going to put boots on the ground. But I will tell you what, we have a deterrent against Russia that they don't know, and they have no idea where our boomers are. They have no clue. Our submarine fleet and our nuclear ballistic submarines are state-of-the-art and ghosts to the Russians. And at any given Sunday, we've got within 7 minutes the ability to hit every independent target in Russia that we want to with multiple ballistic submarines. And on the side note of that, we know where every one of their boomers are and where the Akula and other submarines that they have defending Russia as well. The Navy is where we separate. They don't even possess a nuclear aircraft carrier. So they're running old, you know, boiler room and steam basic.
Like World War II, UB-40 kind of
higher
things?
than that. Yeah, Vietnam and early Cold War steam turbines, piston-driven engines.
Not UB-40, that's the band. What was the...
Okay. Yeah, U571.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yes. That's okay. UB-40, it probably was the name of a Russian U-boat too. It's close. You got the U right. That's all that matters. You look hot. You can say whatever you want. With that hair looking like that, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Like, there's not much you can not say. You cannot.
Awesome.
There's not much not right that you can say even when you're wrong, because it looks good. So I will be honest with you. Zelenskyy is overplaying his hand, but Putin continues to bomb. And at this point, what do you expect Zelenskyy to do? There's only so much that he can do. And I'm not defending Zelenskyy. I don't think we should be involved in this. I don't think we should be proxying this. I don't think we should be giving him the money and weapons. I think maybe at the beginning we should have, because lowering and lessening Russia's military threat is a good thing. But at this point now you are left in the Russian defense, the weapons that nobody wants to have used. And now you're going to be careful. Because if you're going to start attacking Russia and their infrastructure and their nuclear deterrence, which is what the Bear Foxtrots absolutely are, Putin is not going to tolerate that shit. He can't, because the only thing that helps Vladimir Putin to not be strung up by the yardarm with a noose and to have an overthrow of government or have a NATO country just simply, is his nuclear deterrent.
Yeah.
Why did Blumenthal and Newt, I think it was Blumenthal and Lindsey Graham, right? Because that's what they do. They go and suck up, because this is what happens when you proxy a war. It is an ungodly amount of money. But we're talking billions upon billions of dollars going into defense contractors, but more importantly, going into Lindsey Graham's home state, going into Blumenthal's home state, going into a lot of people's home states who are elected officials. And when you bring your home state and home city $30 million, $120 million, $200 million in weapons contracts, you get reelected. So you go and make sure that your investment is properly taken care of. Matt, do you get to see the sub that got lit up? It was in Vermont or Kermont, Russia. I have no comment on that. No comment. Best Navy in the world. Yeah. Now everyone's like, China's catching up. No, they're not. That's what everyone's telling you. Bobby Richardson donated $51.99. Bless you all. Love you. We love you too. Listen, China is making a volume of vessels. They don't have our Air Force. They don't have our overall air superiority. They don't have our naval superiority. Leroy and I talked about this the other night when we talked about the overall volume of population of China has been grossly overstated, which truly they're about half as much as the United States is. When they've been said they're 1.6, 1.7 billion, the estimated is like 820 million. And the United States is almost half of China's population. That makes a very different. You still don't want to get on a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is don't get involved in death don't get involved with the Sicilian when death is on the line. But you
inconceivable.
I don't think you think that word means what I think it means. I just don't foresee China getting involved with the United States in a military. First of all, they don't have the energy to do it. They don't have the food productivity to do it, and they require the United States in order to continue to build their military. Now, 20 years from now, it might change. China could be having an economy that's 10-1 to the United States. Their military might be moving into generational fighters and generational aircraft and vessels. All of that's possible, and then they might just say, "Well, we're going to go snuff out the United States." But right now, I mean, the income that we give China, like 47% of their trade comes from the United States. And they can't obliterate us. They can't kill us. They can't push too hard. And this is why they simply haven't left 175% tariffs on us and said, suffer, because they suffer, because we don't give China much. They give us everything. And just like Canada buckled, everybody buckles because we buy more than anyone else in the entire world. That is a huge draw. When do we stop funding these countries? Never. If you want peace, you have to ensure that U.S. military bases remain across 6 continents. And that's the truth. And now, do I want to give money to people to proxy and run a proxy war? No, I don't. I don't want to give money to Ukraine. I don't want to give money to Israel. Israel is a necessary evil. And when I say evil, because it's spending our money, and we're all like, wait a second, I'm not saying Israel's evil. I'm just saying it's just a shit ton of money. But the interest for the United States in the Middle East is massive, and it's been that way and will remain to be that way, especially with AI and the energy crisis that's taking place all over the world. Whoever is cozied up with the Arabs are going to do very well. And this was also true in World War I, World War II, and every major conflict. The countries that you cozy up to gives you an extreme advantage from a territorial perspective, from a logistics perspective, infrastructure, commodity, resupply, all of it. Because you've got the Suez, you've got the Gulf of what the fuck? Persian
Gulf of
Gulf. Persian
America?
Gulf. No, Persian Gulf. You got the Persian Gulf, you got the Suez, you got everything. So logistically, you get to fly through Saudi Arabia, you get to fly through Kuwait, you get to fly through Iraq, northern Iraq, below the 32nd parallel. You have a much broader strategic advantage to be friends with the Middle East than to be castigated out from all of them. So everyone needs to relax. Is the Chinese Communist Party falling apart? Yeah. And it has been for quite a while. Now, quickly, so we can get to Olivian comments. When the Chinese Communist Party embraced capitalism, and they did for a short period of time, China propelled like a skyrocket. And what happened is farmers would create an overabundance of rice or whatever it would be. And whatever those farmers created, they would have to destroy. They couldn't use it for themselves. They would sell the government an exact amount and everybody got an equal portion. Welcome to communism. And anything that was overabundance to the grain was destroyed.
That's so wasteful.
It's just so stupid.
It is.
It's so what happened is that a local farmer started subsidizing his yield, and instead of destroying it, would give it to other farmers. And those farmers would make up their losses, because if you lost, you were taxed, fined, and punished, and whipped and beaten and thrown in prison, eventually killed if you didn't produce what you said you would for the government. And he would distribute under incognito the yield of his surplus and give it to other farmers. And then those farmers would give them a proceed of money to help him live beyond his means. And this started happening in the 90s. Well, the Maoists and the CCP caught wind of this. And what they saw is not only did everybody start overproducing because the relief from one farm made the next year's crop more bountiful because they didn't deplete their overall, fertilizer and weakening of soil with putting that much type of, growth and then ripping it out and doing it. I mean, these things have detrimental effects from yields from crops year over year, that it created bountiful crops. And China overproduced on its food totals because everyone started producing. They didn't have to whip people. They didn't have to beat people. They didn't have to kill people. So the CCP started embracing capitalism and free trade and started paying these farmers for extra production. This helped. And they became no longer food negligent. And it made them independent in a lot of ways. And by embracing capitalism, it brought everybody up because all ships rise in high tides. Well, the CCP now, 20 years, 25 years removed, has had a taste of success and is going back to its old ways and punishing the farmers and removing these capitalistic trade practices to be more preferred of equal distribution and government control, and yields are going down. And this is costing China money. And when you have farmers who are unhappy and farmers who have to overproduce and farmers who have to stay up late at night and have new machinery, and which is basically hiring more people, morale goes down, productivity and yields go down. Then energy, it costs more money to make, it costs more money to ship because there's less. Supply and demand kicks up, supply goes up. So supply goes down, demand goes up, and then it costs more money. This impacts overall transportation costs, packaging costs, redistribution costs. And we see the negative effect of government-controlled anything. So China has started to feel the pains of this. Now their energy is just being depleted. They can't supply enough energy for their people. And they certainly can't fight a multi-region war with fuel consumption from having a standing military all over the world. So China is essentially the dog on a chain. And that chain is 30 yards. And as long as you stay at 31 yards, that dog will do you no harm. And I believe if we get within a yard of that dog, we're going to get bit. Otherwise, just stay the fuck away, and Russia will ultimately die of old age. Or China. That's it. They'll kill themselves because they're Maoists. And communism fails everywhere. It's just a matter of time. Wasn't the trade deal Trump proposed the best thing for Russia and Ukraine, at least compared to war? Sure. But the problem is you guys are assuming that there are two equal heads of state that are open to negotiation and willing to be flexible. Vladimir Putin is not. Vladimir Putin doesn't care. He already has won this war. It's just Zelenskyy doesn't know it. The people of Ukraine don't know it. There is no chance for winning for Ukraine. So why would Putin stop? The world hasn't punished him. The world isn't attacking him. Yeah, he's losing Russian soldiers, but they killed 50 million in World War II. What do you think Russia cares about people? They'll just keep sending more. So as long as they're not attacking Russia, but now that Zelensky's attacked Russia, that's a whole new ballgame. And either it's going to bring Putin to the table, which I highly doubt, or it's going to have him full tilt. And God bless every Ukrainian, because I think the fires of hell are about to rain down on them. That's my guess. Make sense?
Yep.
All right.
Sure.
Good talk. Good conversation. Happy Monday. Good to see everybody. So we talked a little bit about, thank you for the information. I was just absolutely in shock when you told me that story. And I love it that you have a contact that gives us information like that. I want to shout out to Memo, if we could.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Do you want to kind of tell the story of what happened today and all the work we did, and then what had to happen today, which was basically we built the Sistine Chapel, and then Nazis came in and destroyed it?
Well, background of Memo, so everyone knows who Memo is. He's a kind of like a GC, a general contractor, kind of does it all. And when we first moved into the house, we needed a lot of painting done. We had a deck built, so that needed to be painted. And our realtor referred us to him, and he did a crap ton for fairly inexpensive. And he was super nice, and he brought his kids to the job, and he's just a really, really cool guy. So it's been a few years since we've used him, but we're like, we had some questions. So throughout this whole building of the studio, we've been calling him and asking him questions about how to do a certain thing, since we're doing everything by hand, and we are doing it. And he's answered our phone call every time, and he's been like, and he's been giving us answers. Well, the electrician was here today, did a fantastic job, but unfortunately more of the ceiling and the wall was ripped out than anticipated. So I'm gonna hear you talk. Okay, you're gonna hear me talk. So he's off mic. So we now need somebody to come in and patch up the drywall and sand it over, patch it up, and make it look pretty so we can repaint. Yeah, we can say it. Yeah, we can say that. You're at the, yep, you're by the door. So yeah, this is the new studio. And he called one of his guys, and that guy never called back. So he is actually rearranging his schedule tomorrow and coming out to do this job for us tomorrow and rearranging everything. So he's an awesome guy. He will, even if he doesn't get back to me right away, he'll call me and go, hey, I'm sorry, I was fishing, or I was in a meeting. And he's just awesome. And for that reason, we're going to get him back and repaint our deck, because it's been 5 years. And we're also going to have him in our current studio. It's going to have to be completely drywalled, because we use liquid nails to put all the back stuff on. So it's going to need to be ripped out. And so he's going to redo this room for us as well. So he's just an awesome guy. So if you are in the Northern Virginia area, and you're in need of a general contractor, please give Memo a call, message me, and I'll give you his phone number, because he is amazing and awesome. That's
how we're going to do it. Is just, we'll give you his information. He's amazing.
He's awesome.
So yeah, and you know, you got to understand, you look at that and you go, oh my God, you tore all your wars. Yeah, but look at the lights. I mean, we got 2 temperature controlled fans, 12 dB of noise level, circulate all that air in there, which is going to keep us cool and keep the components cool, because there's going to be 4 75-inch TVs in there, 2 Macs, all the lights, cameras. I mean, it's going to generate a shite ton of heat.
And if you saw, we have pictures of that room, so we'll show you before and after photos once everything's done. But that room had no lights in it. We had 3 standing lamps in that room for light, but there was no light in it. There was, I think, 5 outlets, and that's it. So it was just bare with anything. So we've done the whole thing, and we absolutely needed an electrician to come out and run the internet so we could get our internet over there and all the lights and stuff. So
we're gonna have to wash the walls and pick up some drywall, but to get a full wiring of electrical internet in there, the temperature controlled lights. So like we've got in-ceiling lights. I mean, it's bright, it's beautiful, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, now the fun part starts once we get the drywall up and we can wipe everything down and touch up our paint. We got to put up the back wall. So it's going to be pretty, I'm getting excited. And I actually, I work tomorrow and then I'm off the rest of the week. So I got a 5-day weekend and so I'll be able to help. Yeah, so pretty exciting.
I'm excited. Absolutely excited.
Anytime you get to spend time with me is exciting.
Yeah, that's. I was just gonna say that's funny how you just robbed my mind. Matt, what happened, Matt?
His grandmother passed away today, but she was 101 years old.
Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna say I'm sorry. Like that's great news that she had an amazing, wonderful life. Joseph Hillstrom donated 1080. Excellent analysis as always. Matt and Olivia makes sense to me. Thanks all. And God bless. You got it, Joseph. I'm just going to say, celebrate that life because what an amazing life it is. 101. If I live to 101, I'm going to be ready to go. I'm just ready to go. So I'm sorry for your loss, but I don't think that's a loss. That's an amazing, amazing life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you asked the family, they're probably going to say the same thing, that maybe it was time or she was ready or whatever. Your electrician did a rather clean job for a drywall contractor to clean up. Yeah, I think so too.
And he was able to save some of the drywall. We've got the pieces laying in the other room. But the builders of our home use liquid nails, like Gorilla Glue liquid nails, to put up some of this drywall.
And it just ripped it apart. But they're clean runs where he can just literally cut one sheet, plug the hole, do a stopgap, spackle, 2 screws, piece of wood, spackle. I know how to do it. I know how to drywall. I have no desire. I hate drywall. And Memo is so good. He's just going to come in and fix that for us. And we're paying for it outside of the budget just because I've been working my ass off too much. And now I can start building the desk. Now I can start running, wiring. I could start putting on the TVs. I can put the speakers in and get the computers set up and cameras set up and get the back wall done. And we can focus. Like the fun stuff's coming. Like Olivia and I are excited because now you're going to see it put together. And now it's just going to go up like this.
Yeah. We're also finding out how not accurate the company was that built our home. How many walls are crooked? Our floor is like tilting up in one part. We actually had to saw off a portion of one of the barn doors so it would actually open all the way. And we had to tilt it at an angle so it's not a bigger gap at one end than it is the other.
And that's just the thing you do. So I just had to use my hand saw, and now I can use a table saw like an artist and a hand saw like an artist. And I've learned a new skill and I love it and it's fun and it's frustrating, but it's fun.
On another note, ironically, everyone who was here, what was it, last Friday with the whole the extra door delivery that we watched that fiasco. They delivered it again today.
So I'm just going to return it, get my money back.
And they did it so quickly on the fly. We were eating dinner that they were gone before we even realized.
So I'm just going to return the damn thing and get a credit back because I'm done. This is so stupid. So, but the last thing is Chuck says, are you going to add another vent to reduce the heat? No, because we just don't need it.
And HVAC, that's not something I want to mess with.
No, it's not that. Adding another vent is easy. It's actually absolutely simple. The duct is literally right underneath that run, and it runs to the next room, which is where you're at. That duct is right there, honey. We could cut into the floor and just put a down vent into that duct and stick a cover over it, and you're done. It's that easy. Like we could. You just don't need it. The HVAC system here is so good because we have 2 independent zones and one does the upstairs, one does the downstairs. And we get so much push out of there. Those fans that we put in are so incredibly, I think we showed you a picture of them just a second ago. You got to see them. They are so incredibly good that you walk in there and it's cool as cool can be. And it will not be that hot.
Yeah, it was a huge difference.
Yeah, it just won't be. And even this room, we've got 6 lights, 7 lights, 3 computers, 6 monitors, cameras. It's not hot in here either because we've got the fan and we've got
except when the AC's broken.
Yeah, when the AC's broken. All right. So let's move on. Appreciate everybody asking these questions. We wanted to try to, do that for you. War. I know war is the moneymaker. It pulled us out of the recession in 1929. Absolutely. Can you convert the room you're in to a guest room? So here's the deal, quickly. This room is going to become the music room and the study.
The library.
Study?
Yeah.
It sounded a little more than a library.
Yeah,
Library,
it's the music room.
it's a study. It's study, love. It just sounds more posh for people of all stature. Library is what Americans go to, the uncultured swine. So we're going to come in here and rip this apart, get all the walls done, repaint it, and then bring in a beautiful leather love seat that we have.
My piano.
Get lighting put in because it's all retroed for it. And I'm probably going to build some bookcases because there's a beautiful wall here that would just be great with a bookcase that goes this way. And just build a little room for the kids and for Olivia to go, play the piano and play their music in and just chill out. And that's what this room's going to become. Okay?
Okie dokie.
All right. So thanks, guys. We'll keep you up to date. So next topic. By the way, Matt Spear, Olivia Spear, show is already at 68.44 before we even knew it. We're looking to raise $300 tonight. We do that because Facebook took all of our money and demonetized us. So we lost. They owe us hundreds of thousands of dollars. Olivia will tell you we were averaging between 8 and 15 a month when Facebook completely just undercut us. And because they took away our monetization, we lost, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're well over $250,000 is what Facebook would owe us if we would have continued. And we've done nothing but grown. When we were at 150,000 people, we were making that kind of money. Now we're at 250,000, and so they really hamstrung us. So please don't sound like we're lavish spending here. We did a fundraiser for the show. Chuck Peterson and 65 other people donated to reach $10,000, and then Chuck matched it for 20, and that's why we're doing the studio. But you can help out with the show, the everyday expenses, the internet, the power, the lights, our time, and everything else. By donating small donation or a big donation, you get to decide. But if you do that, go to thedumbshow.com/donate. And you can use PayPal or Venmo or send it in by mail. We would appreciate it. So much is going on. Conversation between David Mamet, who I don't even know who David Mamet is. I'm assuming he's a Trump guy. And I just don't know who he is. So I'm going to look it up. But I want you to listen to this exchange. Bill Maher and David Mamet are sitting down in his little man cave. And this isn't Bill Maher, the typical Bill Maher on HBO, but this is his podcast offsite that he does. It's very successful. And Mamet is talking to him, and they're having a conversation about January 6th, and Mamet's just not having it. And he listens to Bill, and he's somewhat respectful. And then at the end, he just kind of lets him have it. And it's an interesting point because I think this nuance is lost on a lot of people when it comes to January 6th. So let's give this a listen.
If a prize fighter loses, it doesn't inspire people to riot.
How did he inspire people to riot?
By not conceding the election.
Oh, come on.
What?
Come on. So wait a second. He didn't say the words "I concede," and so that meant people rioted?
Yes. What do you think January 6th was about?
What do you think January 6th was?
It was about people who did not hear their leader say, as every other leader in this country has said after an election, okay, I lost. We welcome the new guy. We had disagreements, but now we're all Americans. When Obama took over, George Bush stood next to him, and he said, we want you to succeed, because when you succeed, Trump didn't do any of that.
Okay. So what?
Well, so what? It inspires half the country to not accept the basic democratic principle that we have elections, and when you lose, you go away, and then you become the loyal opposition. They don't see themselves as the loyal.
You like me have built a career out of nothing except talent and a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, but you're full of shit. What I don't understand when you say that he did not say the words "I concede" caused half the country, which you just said, to riot.
I got to give Bill Maher credit. He can take a hit. Like, you can tell Bill Maher he's full of shit, and Bill Maher's like, if he respects you, he's like, well, okay, that's kind of fair.
Well, Hillary never conceded. She has still not.
Okay,
conceded.
so all right,
9 years ago. 9 years
fantastic.
Later.
God, I love that you've annualized yourself for a couple of years on this show. So you're starting to really pick up on all the stuff and connect in the sinew, and I love that. You're absolutely right. Hillary refused to concede. In fact, she's on her 47th group of people or situation to blame is why she didn't win. It's a great point. But here's my question before we go back into that. And this is just to scratch the surface of this topic. Would you rather have a president who says, I'm the unifier in chief. I am the person who reaches across the aisle, and I'm going to bring America together, and I'm going to make it better in the United States? Or would you rather have the person who says, I don't agree with the results. I don't think I lost. I'm not going to his inauguration. I'm not going to the ball, and I want nothing to do with him. I'm not going to ride with him in the car, and I'm not going to endorse him. And I don't feel that I lost this election. I feel it was stolen. Would you rather have someone who's honest or lies and then doesn't do any of those things? Because Biden didn't do any of them. Which one do you think's more magnanimous, or are they both wrong? What are your thoughts?
Any politician that tells the truth, I'm going to.
Right.
I'm going to get behind, because I mean, politician is just another word for lie. So, I mean, they all do.
Maybe it's politician.
Yeah. Ooh, there we go. New word, but yeah, I mean, all politicians lie, and I would rather have one tell the truth and actually do what he or she says they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And in my lifetime, and I'm old, but I'm not that old. I've only voted in a handful of elections.
Right.
But in my lifetime, Trump is the only president that has actually followed through on over half of what he has said he's going to do, and at least tried to get it done.
Yeah.
And if the Senate or Congress blocked it, then he at least tried it several times. And at that point, it's not his fault. It's not going through. So, but he still found a way to build a lot of the wall. And to get Mexico to pay for it. He still found a way, and he's doing it now and doing it still.
Well,
Biden didn't do the one thing that he did that he promised he was going to do was freaking tuition, get tuition payback. And that was unconstitutional.
Right.
That's the only thing that he actually campaigned on.
Yeah, infrastructure didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything else besides that.
Well, he wrote a lot of executive orders that Trump had to basically wipe out, right?
Yeah, and also some aides used AutoPen to sign a lot of things in his name. So.
You're just a little ball of fire tonight. I mean, it's amazing. Get you in a room and using a skill saw and measuring tape, and all of a sudden you grow a pair of balls.
Because I used power tools this weekend.
You crushed it. I mean, she did all the math on the cuts and measured
and I suck at math. Don't ask me how that happened, but I did.
It was great. You did a great job. I mean, you were amazing help, and you've been incredible. And listen, I'm sore and I'm tired, and my neck feels like it's just my spine's been ripped out and put back in because. I'm 51 years old, but I got some mileage. I mean, I've got a lot of old injuries.
It's also constant for 2 weeks. We haven't taken any time off.
Yeah.
I haven't
and
done.
Deadlifting doors, 150-pound doors with like this. Yeah, that's.
I got 2 laundry baskets filled with clothes. I haven't done a load in 3 weeks, and anything that's clean is sitting in a basket. That's all we've done. We've eaten a lot of takeout,
which sucks. But
really
we both
sucks.
have lost weight because we're constantly up moving.
But it's like when you move into a home. That last week you're in your home is constant takeout because all your stuff's packed, and that first week you're in your home, everything's packed.
It's been a lot of takeout lately. We had a good meal tonight. Went to More Better and had a steak and some asparagus.
But there's been no time, and I haven't been able to really do a big grocery shopping trip. So it's like, what was me.
You know what I like about the show? I like about the show is that we can do some news, and then talk a little bit about life, and then.
And Yenny can come in here and molest my face.
She's so pretty. She is just a gorgeous cat.
Oh, and this stinker got out.
Okay, we can't do it. We can't. We already did the personal. Now we got to move to the. So we've got quite a few people on. We've in regular legacy social media. We've got 150 plus, and then another 125 so on Wimkin and Rumble. So we're pushing 300. Folks, if you haven't had a chance, please help donate to the show. dumbshow.com/donate. Senator Whitehouse. I've talked about this guy before.
What a name! He needs to become president.
No, he doesn't.
I'm joking.
No, not this guy.
Not this guy.
his wife are longtime members of an all-white Bailey's Beach Club in Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh, nice.
And White House says
Sounds
these
prestigious.
clubs are okay. Just because I said you still got, like, when I'm doing the intro, you got to shut up for a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's that haircut. You've got me all flustered. I don't know what the fuck to say. Oh, White House says, watch my mouth. White House says these clubs are a long tradition in Rhode Island. That's despicable. Yeah, so is the Klan. So is Aryan Nation. But here he is trying to justify it. This guy is a horrible human being. He says, good riddance, Musk and his Musk rats. Don't you love it when the liberals just embrace their 1938 to 1946 Nazi frickin' rhetoric and start calling Druze vermin and rats and roaches? Yeah. Caused more waste than they cleaned out. Now the job fails to the insidious fossil fuel funded creep Russell Vought and then their henchman at OMB. He's pissed. Here's his video, how he is justifying being a part of an Aryan yacht club.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, here it is.
Okay. A little close. Okay. Back in 2017, you had expressed concerns about the membership of the all-white Bailey's Beach Club, said that you hoped it would become more diverse. Now, your family's been members. Your wife is one of the largest shareholders. Has there been any traction in that? Are there any minority members of the club now?
I think the people who are running the place are still working on that, and I'm sorry it hasn't happened yet.
Do you have concerns in 2021? I mean, obviously, it's been 4 years. You had remarks on the floor following the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd saying, hoping to root out systemic racism in the country. Your thoughts on an elite, all-white, wealthy club, again, in this day and age? Should these clubs continue to exist?
It's a long tradition in Rhode Island, and there are many of them. I think we just need to work our way through the issues. Thank you.
The car's here. You have to continue.
Okay.
Wow, that was the best non-answer from White House. Maybe
Yeah,
to
it's
be
a
more diverse,
long
he should name his house to
tradition.
Black House, and then they can go ahead and say, "Well, we're very diverse. We have a Black House." Maybe he could identify as a female and get some slits in the club. Is this the hypocrisy that people are just like? You want to know the difference between a Republican and a Democrat? Simply, first of all, Cody and I just absolutely are brothers from another mother. My electrician. I mean, him and I were just the whole just going back and forth, just talking politics and laughing. And the difference between Republicans and Democrats is that we don't buy what our politicians sell us. We don't trust them. We don't believe them. Most of the time, we don't even like them. And when one of them do something right, we're actually shocked.
Yep.
Because right after that, the one that we were defending does something wrong. Like the moment I start defending Massey, he turns into a retard. The moment I start defending Marjorie Taylor Greene, she turns into a freaking retard. The moment
always
that
was.
Well, there were times. The time I defend Hawley or Rand Paul, or even Lindsey Graham. I mean, it's not just one, it's all of them. The only person who in Congress who has not disappointed me as of yet is Eli Crane. Eli has done everything he was supposed to do. And there's some others that I'm okay with. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I understand why they do what they do. But Eli just constantly just goes after what he says he was going to go after. But White House he expects you to believe this. Who believes this? You are a member of an all-white, which is fine. There's not the problem I have is there's nothing wrong with an all-white club. We were talking about Joanne Townsend donating 1080. Thank you so much, Joanne. I'm going to say it right now. Just to be honest with you, are you ready for? I'm going to say it. People are going to think I'm racist. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I want my children going to school with as many white people as they can. I'm sorry, I do. Because by the percentages and numbers, they have less teenage pregnancy, they have less violent crime, less drug use, less bullying, less fights, less homicides on campus. I'm sorry. Black culture in the school environment, it's not conducive for black people or white people. And school isn't conducive in any way, shape, or form. You get cliques. You have fat kids with other fat kids, nerds with nerds, chess players with chess players, band geeks. You got the jocks. And it's already segregated to a point where creating violence and division is the natural remedy for being excluded. Why? It happens in prisons too. When you mix those prisons together, people start formulating cliques and groups and want to literally fight each other. It happens in prisons. It happens with the green-eyed, blue-eyed people. The experiment was done by Jan, whatever her name is.
That teacher, yeah.
Yeah. You form cliques and groups, and you naturally progress to your clique. Does that mean I want all white schools and all black schools and all Chinese? No, I didn't say that. I want like-minded people. And most of the time, when you have a town and you live in a town, it predominantly has the same level of people in it. For my own kids' safety, for my own kids' experience at school, I don't want a bunch of repopulated illegal immigrants moving into our city and going to that school. I don't. And I don't want to bus in an inner city full of kids to go to that school either.
Nope.
Is that wrong?
No.
Does that make me racist? No.
There's a reason we don't live in the inner city.
That's right. And I don't want it in my town. And does that make me a nationalist? Does that make me a racist? No, it makes me I've lived in those cities. I grew up in the Avenue of Ventura. I grew up hanging out with Mexicans and blacks and Koreans and everybody other. And you know what? I was pulled to those groups out of safety. Not because I had anything in common with Mexican people or black people or Asian people. I didn't want to get my ass kicked. Because that's what the school is full of gang. Kevster, 1080, screw Ukraine, but screw Russia even more. Screw them both. So I think we just need to have honest conversations. Is that most people, like my daughter has the most eclectic group of friends I've ever seen out of any human being in my life. She's got lesbian friends. She's got a transgender friend. She's got a friend who's 6'7". She's got friends who are 5'1". She's got Mexican friends. She's got black friends. She's got Asian friends. She's got, the only people she doesn't have, and thank God, are Mormons.
Actually, no, you're wrong on that.
Son of a bitch. I was kidding. I know she had Mormon friends. And but my point is that I didn't say I didn't want those kids going to the school. I said I want as many people of color, background, economic status surrounding my children as possible. I want their group to be big because I'm telling you, it's much better to be the majority. That's just the way it works. And if that's wrong, I don't care. I'm wrong, but it doesn't make me a racist.
No,
I didn't say I don't want black kids at our school. I didn't say I said I want like-minded people. I want people who are here, who have parents who work, who live in a nice house, who live in the community, who have a stable job, who has the picket fence and the cars and the puppy dogs, and they go to the park on Sundays, and they go to the local Little League. I don't care what color they are, as long as they also participate in those type of things. That's it. JD Stillwell donated $15. Another great show from you both. Thanks, JD. Thanks for donating, buddy. 105.4 is where we're at. White House. Now that's different. For 5 years.
If a prize fighter loses, it doesn't inspire
Thanks,
people.
Bill. 5 years, man, this guy's had a chance to, if he truly believes that being a member of an all-boys club, white club, is wrong, which he says it is for other members to do by association, and he is still with it, then you are a classic hypocrite. That would be like me promoting mixed race schools, and I want every nationality to own an eighth of the school population. And then I put my children in a private all-white school. That would be wrong. That means you're a racist. I'm actually calling for as many people of like-minded status and culture with my kids as possible. And I'm being open and honest about it. So I think we just need more of this. People have to stop apologizing for loving their country. I think people have to stop apologizing for saying there's nothing wrong that black people and white people are different. Just like men and women are different. There's nothing wrong. We're not all alike. It's just not true. It's just not true. Ask me for some examples. I can do it. Need water pump?
No, that's what I'm choking on is water.
You choked on water.
It went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So that's all I'm trying to say is we can stop pretending that there's not differences. Now, is there a difference between a person who lives down the street who's black and me? No. No, not in the sense of the things that matter. Maybe spiritually, they believe in something different, maybe music-wise. But as far as general disposition, career, values, family, ethics, hard work, these things are in common. And that's all that matters. I don't care about the skin color. Yeah, right? Not based on color, but ideology. Correct. Olivia Spear, I borrowed and used a circular saw one day and walked around all day like I was Tool Time Tim.
That was pretty good.
Gary Moore says, it wasn't so different in the 60s either. Forced desegregation introduced the U.S. to the problems to come. Yeah, you know, and here's the difference. Here's the difference. You notice I said I like. I didn't say I want or I have to have. I didn't say black kids can't be at the school. That's different. Segregation is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I believe our kids should go through affirmation process based on like-minded people surrounding them. There should be a level of acceptance where kids who grew up in similar mentalities, who like the same things, are going to be less inclined to pick on each other or fear peer pressure or get pregnant or do drugs at an early age. And this is what we have here. This is what we have in our town. Our school has a mixed race of, I mean, it is one of the most mixed race. You watch one of the choruses and it literally looks like a freaking American Eagle or Aeropostale commercial. It's ridiculous. You got black kids, white kids, skinny kids, fat kids, tall kids. Even the chicken pox, hot dogs, armored hot dogs. So
where did that come from?
It's a commercial. White kids, skinny kids, fat kids. Okay, it's from Demolition Man. So you look up on stage and there's all sorts of kids. Once again, all different colors, all different races, ideologies, religions, Mormons, Jews, Catholics, Protestants, Baptists. Everybody's different. And that's okay because they all have the same standard ideology. They all have the same core values. So that's my point. Unfortunately, my hubby gave up being nervous with me and power tools. I'm white, but I'm not a white liberal, for example. Right. All right. We've went over White House. We'll be right back. Folks, donations are at 105.04. Olivia and I are going to be off in 49 minutes. 49 minutes. We need some help. Got to make a push. Here you go.
The Dumb Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big Tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time. And we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumbshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation. We appreciate you more than words can say.
You guys can go over to thedumbshow.com if you would like and get yourself a shirt, a hat, all cool stuff. We've got it all over there. It's all 5-star rated. The store's a little slow. Folks, we've got tank tops. We've got T-shirts. We've got great coffee. Head on over there and get yourself something. And we don't talk about, we try not to advertise as much as we used to about the show and everything. We try to focus on the donations because it gets overwhelming if we tell you, hey, go buy this and buy that. So thedumbshow.com is amazing. Now go over there, take a look. The site's built for you. It's got all of our old videos, all of our old podcasts, all up there for you to go take a look at. A great store, some other links and stuff. You can find out about the hosts and our mods and everything else. Go take a look. And that site is going to get more prominent when we have the new show. We are going to get back to writing articles every day, doing one video every morning, and possibly a weekend show or morning show coming up. So lots of new things happening. Hang with us, and we will walk you through it. Tom Homan, Mom, the border czar, which he's not really a border czar. I know that was Kamala Harris's name. Tom Homan, you know who he is. He's tough.
Yes.
Strong, opinionated, but he makes a great point. And I want you to hear it. So take a listen and go ahead and run it. Liv, I know you're going to play it, so play it. Thank you to Anon. I have a $10 donation from Anon.
Well, it's somebody who normally donates, but the name didn't come across, so I don't know if that was on purpose or not. So So
I know who it was.
Yeah, I do too because I saw the email.
And they usually go ahead and say, so I'm just going to say, Joanne, thank you.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yep. See how that works? Isn't that cool? Here's Tom Homan. Listen to this. Well said.
And as far as releasing so many people, you know why the Biden administration released?
Paul Sheehan says, can you do Cash App? Paul, we already have to file like 12 different income tax forms. And every time we add a new income tax form or a new app, we get killed. It's so much money for taxes. I mean, we have to process. It's very complicated. And we're a multifaceted business with multiple revenue streams. We get revenue from Wimkin. We get revenue from donations. We get t-shirt sale, advertising sales, sponsors. So I can, but you're not going to like this when I say this. So don't take this personal. Can't you install PayPal and Venmo? Because it's the same thing. All you got to do is just add your card, or you can send money from, I believe, Cash App straight into PayPal or Venmo and send it that way. If it's something you can't do, maybe I'll consider it, but it is really, really hard to add multiple Cash Apps and manage all of it when it comes to income taxes. So I'm hoping you can make an exception. A lot of people who say, oh, I don't like PayPal. I don't know why they don't like PayPal. The only people, the PayPal people that they're really banning, a lot of it was J6. There's no doubt about it. 100%. But most of it are people who are tied up into nefarious things and saying things that aren't. We have never had problems with PayPal. They have taken care of us. I can take out $176,000 out of my account. Like that. Not that I have that money, but if I did, I would be able to pull it immediately. They have a very high rating with them. I get it. I'm a general contractor, just checking. Well, if you're a GC, like, I'm not sure what has to do with Cash App and everything else.
Probably because he's self-employed.
But what does that have to do with Cash App?
I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering. I just don't understand why. Like, is it you don't like PayPal and Venmo? If that's the case, then I'll see who does Cash App. I don't know anything about it.
I guess it's like the Venmo was a few years ago, where Venmo was the new kid on the block. I think Cash App's the new kid on the block. It just hasn't grown like Venmo and PayPal.
Okay, I'll look into it.
So that is the second request we've had for it in the last couple of weeks.
Is Cash App from Facebook? Who's it from?
I have no idea because I don't use it, and I've never.
Oh,
seen
it looks just like PayPal. Oh, I see. So you can take it directly from your payroll, and okay.
So it's like a payroll thing then.
Well,
is
no,
that what
it is, but you can take it directly from, like, you can take deductions out. You can buy stocks, Bitcoin. Okay. It's a mobile banking system. It's very much like everything else. I'll download it. That's fine. You know what? I'm willing to do it. I think I can do that for you, Paul. Just give me, I use Cash App and never had issues. All right, Bobby, I'll do it. If you guys like it, but please do me a favor. If you're thinking of donating, please just maybe this time do it that way, and I'll get Cash App put on there within the next day or two, and I'll put it up on the site. Is that a deal? No, Paul, I'm going to help you out. Yeah, go to PayPal now if you want to donate, and then I'll get Cash App installed. Liv, put a note, stick it in the calendar for me.
Got it.
All right, here we go.
And as far as releasing so many people, you know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night? They did it on purpose, because when you put them in ice detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. Well, if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings could be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power. They can award an amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country out for future political power. That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done.
You know,
I just don't get why they're so upset that we're actually following the law now.
Well, it's within the question that he asked. So let's talk about it. Why would you put somebody up in a $500 a night hotel where they could stay indefinitely to process a hearing. And why wouldn't you put them in an ice bed that will give you a 35-day essential hearing and answer for deportation? Why would you?
They're buying their loyalty.
That's really it. Is there anything? I mean, can you think of any other reason?
No, I can't.
It's not justified spending of a budget.
No.
Okay, because that's certainly not going to get you there.
It's a drain on the economy.
It is when it comes to personal loans. It does when it comes to Social Security. It does when it comes to taking jobs from Americans. And you can say whatever you want, but
and their free health care when we don't have it.
Right. Minimal jobs started to go by the wayside when we started allowing illegal immigrants to come in here and we started doing work furlough. And you're finding the young people who found it to be too remedial or too beneath them to take these jobs. And this is where you get this depreciation in overall employment. It looks like David's on the phone.
Hello.
David called, but David hung up. He maybe didn't want me to know his name. Well, we'll just call him back. Let's see. Is this Susie, my time off operator? Can you hear this?
I can hear it ringing.
You hear it ringing?
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hey, David, this is Matt and Olivia from The Dumb Show. You had just given us a call. We figured we would give you the courtesy of calling you back. Unfortunately, we were disconnected. You can call us back at any time at 276-200-2105. We eagerly are anticipating your call up until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, alas, we will have to depart and unable to take your call until tomorrow. Thank you. I don't know what happened. You know what it usually is? It's usually... Not that David was that, but it's usually a spammer. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I have their names now and their phone numbers and their addresses, that's technology. So I know where they live, I know their name, and I get their phone number. Isn't technology grand? Isn't it cool?
Yes.
I know.
Speaking of technology, you have to see this text string. Somebody texts me, "Are you free this autumn?" And I'm like, I don't know.
This autumn?
This autumn. I said, I don't know. Are you free next winter? so I was like, okay, I got to read this all of a sudden because this is hilarious.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. We'll take a break.
And then they answer, "Hi, I'm Kelly. We haven't been in touch for a long time. I missed the happy time when we went hiking together. I'm going to travel back to Albuquerque again in autumn. Are you still there?" My answer was, "Oh, hi. I missed those days as well. Especially when we hiked up to the top of Mount Everest and went scuba diving to find wreckage from the Titanic. I live at the North Pole now. Let me check with Santa Claus to see if I will be free anytime soon." That was my answer. They haven't written back. I just thought...
That's good.
You know, I usually...
You've been hanging out with me way
yes,
too long.
Usually when I get those, I'm like, nope, and I delete them. But now I'm like, I'm going to screw with them.
You have changed. I'm telling you, the show changes you. Like, you just become, I don't know.
More witty.
I guess. Better, faster. What did we say? Better, faster?
Bigger, better, faster, more.
Yeah, bigger, better, faster, more.
Which still need to make that shirt.
I'm going to.
What time? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just get that in between. Yeah, the luge and shuffleboard.
Still
Puffy.
Point is in the house.
Yeah, Still Point in the house. Awesome. Good to see you guys. All right. Donations, folks, if we haven't had a chance, please.
Where's our happy birthday song?
Yeah, where's the happy birthday song? That's a good question.
Well, it did take them over a year to make our theme song, so.
No, come on.
Well, they had to
Don't
write
be
the
mean.
thing. I'm not being mean.
You're kind of being mean.
No, I'm not.
You are.
That means they were working on it really, really hard.
No, it's that you had
awesome.
to cut the tree. First of all, you had to write it. Mm-hmm. You had to produce it. Mm-hmm. You had to go ahead and you had to get studio time. Then you have to cut it. You have to lay the tracks. Then you have to remaster it. And it takes some time. So come on.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. I need a Matt answering as my voicemail. I'll be happy to do it. So here's listen, I don't want to go too much into this. I don't want to give this guy airtime. I I'm not going to say a suspect, but this is the guy who I'm assuming most of you had a chance to hear this. There was a pro-Israel group in Boulder, Colorado, our old stomping grounds.
Huh?
We were actually going to take the son out to possibly go to Colorado and go to a hockey game and a college football game next year. And they have gotten this guy for a slew of charges. But the media is saying that this, let's not jump to conclusions. This guy said, free Palestine. He's an illegal immigrant. You know, he's illegal. He's not an immigrant. I believe he's from Egypt. And it's so interesting because Egyptians literally have decimated Palestinians over the decades. They have a long history of hating each other. And in fact, if you remember, when they wanted to flee and forced Gazans to the south, Egypt wouldn't let them in. And only after extreme global pressure did Egypt do so. And this guy is using Molotov cocktails and what people are saying flamethrowers. I didn't see a flamethrower, but what I do see are bottles, and it looks like they either have flags that you would light and then throw, which are soaked rags, but very well could have been a pressurized concoction. Like if you've ever seen a seltzer bottle, you can shake it up, and then the carbonation inside of it creates pressure. Then you squirt it and it shoots out. Well, you can create the same thing when it comes to, I'm not going to go into specifics, but when you mix up a certain concoction of chemicals in the right proportion, it will create a lot of gases, and which can create that spray. And if he has a lighter or whatever and uses that, it's going to spray out like a flamethrower. That's probably what he used. I don't know. I wasn't there. There was a homemade flamethrower by him. Okay. So this is just a crazy story. I'm going to go into it. I'll read it, kind of what happened, even though I really didn't want to go into a lot of it, but whatever, we're going to do it anyway. His suspect, he spent a year planning a Molotov cocktail attack on pro-Israel people. Mohammed Sabri Solomon allegedly prepared incendiary weapons and waited for his daughter's graduation before the pro-Israel rally. The Boulder domestic terrorist suspect spent a year preparing it. He's an Egyptian national. He's illegal, whose visa, which was granted during the Biden administration, expired in 2025, so he's illegal. Told federal authorities that the violence was a long time in the making. In an interview with the authorities, according to the federal complaint, the suspect said he was waiting for his daughter's graduation before carrying out the attack. Here is the douchebag's picture. Looks like
unless he had the courtesy so his daughter could graduate.
Yeah, I'm sure
because she would have been booted.
What a present. What a present for her. Looks like she or he burned himself. What a shame. He allegedly proceeded with his plan. Court documents say he researched how to build incendiary weapons on YouTube, collected the ingredients over time. Right, but YouTube leaves that up, but they throttle us. Last time I checked, we're not teaching people how to make homemade flamethrowers and Molotov cocktails, yet we get suspended and this jackhole has an account. It was like a weed sprayer. That's another way to do it. That makes sense. A weed sprayer would also have that pressure. Yep, that's the way to do it. He told authorities that he discovered Run for Their Lives, a group organizing weekly walks to bring awareness to Israel hostages. As they assembled on Pearl Street, which Olivia and I have been many times before, he said, free Palestine. Great. So now we have two people, a couple killed and shot in cold blood as the woman's crawling away, begging for her life and gets shot and killed in cold blood. And now this Yahoo who attacks elderly Jews, one who actually survived the Holocaust, saying he would do it again. He was motivated by Zionists. He told officers that the people at the event represented an existential threat to our land, referring to Palestine, and they had to be stopped.
It's not even
I know.
There.
They recovered 14 Molotov cocktails, along with gasoline, red rags, a weed sprayer, there we go, that may have been intended for dispersing flammable liquid, according to the complaint. Papers bearing the words Israel, Palestine, and USAID, authorities said. Go figure. Lots of people were hurt. I think the last count was like 16 or it could be more, it could be less. I don't have the accurate count, so I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to tell you it's absolutely sad. It's devastating, and it's complete bullshit. Here is the Fox News report from Katie Pavlich, who I really like. Here it is.
First, it's fueled by an American media, which has been lying and spreading falsehoods about Israel's defensive war against this death cult in Gaza and elsewhere in the Middle East. And also it's fueled by Democrats like the Biden administration who let in people who are anti-American, who don't share our values, and who think the way to settle scores with people you disagree with is to try and murder them. And that's what we saw yesterday. That's what we saw in Washington, D.C., the capital city, where 2 staffers from the Israeli embassy, one a Christian from Germany and an American citizen, were gunned down in the streets by someone who thinks that this free Palestine ideology is something that they're willing to take people's lives over. This is anti-American. It has to stop. And it vindicates the Trump administration when they say we're stripping visas from people who engage in this kind of ideology, who think that this is the way that you settle scores in this country. First, it's fueled by an American media, which has been lying and spreading falsehoods about Israel's defensive war against this death cult in Gaza and elsewhere in the Middle East.
So obviously, this is now coming to a head on our soil, and this is this jackhole. First of all, bro, put your shirt on.
Yeah, I think
or tan yourself up by using some of that tanning lotion that you have right there and smoking a cigarette, because that could help. Here it is.
We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. You have to answer this. Not here, bro. You're not.
People are taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on the.
Dr. Stella Emanuel, if you're listening, I know who you are, and I remember you speaking out during COVID about ivermectin and hydrochloroquine and other remedies outside of the things that they were prescribing and saying worked. I would love to have you on the show. You said you saw us on Rumble. You can reach out to me at matt@thedumbshow.com or my wife, Olivia@thedumbshow.com. We'll get you scheduled. But yeah, I absolutely remember you. You've got, I don't know, I think 400,000 followers on Twitter. You've been talked about on Tucker. And you also are an advocate for speaking out against things that we also speak out against. So I'd love to have you on the show. Thank you for reaching out to me. And if you're listening still, it would be an honor. Now, I can't see your comment on Rumble, but my wife can. And we would love to have you on. So let's have a conversation. I'll have my wife reach out to your Rumble page, and hopefully we can have you on the show soon.
Was she on chat and Rumble?
She's on Rumble. She just sent me a Twitter X communication.
Okay.
So it's Dr. Stella Emanuel, MD.
Most people have nicknames on Rumble.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Maybe her nickname is Dr. Stella Emanuel, MD. I don't know. But we can find her on X as well.
Okay.
And we'll introduce ourselves and send her a private message and get her on the show. Because that I remember her on the news.
I do remember her on the news.
I remember her. And if she's reaching out to us, then yes, we would love to have you. And she's blue checkmarked, so she's not some bullshit scam. So yes, ma'am, we'd love to have you on. All right, here's the rest of the stupid video.
Alcohol, too. Alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
And for us?
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails on.
If you are fighting, you have to.
That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov cocktails.
Right there.
It's alcohol.
They are killers.
Get back, Mom.
High velocity round will take care of this problem very, very quickly.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I would shoot the guy, but I would definitely take out at least one of those bottles and throw a match. Colorado, when we were there, you could carry an open weapon or conceal a weapon, and it was I mean, how many times do we see people with revolvers, literally from the cowboy days, on their hip?
Yeah.
Cowboys would come in, and rustlers and wranglers would come in, and they would be strapped. And in 15 years, this country has completely fallen apart, but Colorado has turned into California. It is a liberal haven, supporting of transgender kids and transformations, sexually mutilating children, supporting alternate lifestyles, abortion, banning guns, having men and women's sports, supporting. I mean, they've just gone off the deep end. Like, I kind of, it's hard for me to believe. I just don't want to live in Colorado ever again.
No, it's sad. I used to love it there.
We did love it there. It was our state. We loved Colorado. We wanted to retire there. We wanted to watch the Avalanche, and that was what we wanted more than anything. Now look at it. It's just a complete.
It's crap hole, though.
It's crap hole, and I just can't imagine that anyone would want to live in a place where you can't defend the people you love. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This guy never should have been able to do this. I guess the lady was, like I said, a Holocaust survivor.
Is she the only one who passed? Or
That's so far from what I understand. She's the only one who's passed. Now, I could be incorrect, but I believe that's the case. And so I like. Here's my thought. It comes down to this. I don't care if you believe in the Bible. I don't care if you believe in Scripture. I don't care if you believe in the afterlife or what methodology you follow through a theological means or an existential means or however you decide to express your faith. I don't care. Sorry.
Woo.
I was turning on your light. You were super bright. So, but if the Bible says end of times will be where?
I don't know.
Israel.
Is it Israel?
Yeah, Jerusalem. The end of times and the second coming of Christ is claimed by the same two religious sects. As far as Judaism and the Muslim religion believe that Mecca and Jerusalem, both holy lands, and the Prophet Muhammad and Jesus Christ, or the second coming of God, is where Christians believe that you'll have second coming of Christ. And the Jews find it to be holy land for similar reasons. Now, when Jesus supposedly told the Jews to wipe out the Canaanites and eradicate people, the way that it was then and now, Amy says it best, is that God was a different God in the Old Testament than he is in the New Testament, based upon that we were troubled and lost. Our souls were lost. We had no guidance, and a lot of things took place in the fire and brimstone and punishment to educate us on how to properly live with rules and everything else. And if you go back to the lessons of Cain and Abel, and you go back to the lessons of Sodom and Gomorrah and all this other stuff, it ultimately leads that the end of times is really the Jews versus the rest of the world. That's your cat who did that.
What is she doing anyway?
She's hitting the cable.
Oh.
So when she hits the cable, it switches the light. I'll fix it. So the reason I bring this up is that whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in Scripture or believe in the book, if the Jews are God's chosen people, live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if we know also that the end of days will take place in Israel. Okay, you have to get the dog off of that cord. I can't. The white cord, she's got to get off.
She's not on one.
Somebody is. Somebody is on a white cord. And that white cord is the light in your window, and it's getting touched, and it's changing it. Okay. Okay, just move over a little bit and just don't touch any cords. Okay.
Okay.
So if the Bible, I'm train of thoughts completely
Sorry.
gone. But if your whole process is whether you believe or don't believe, and end of days will happen there, end of times.
Is the light freaking out?
It is because something keeps. Okay, I can't repeat myself more than once. You are touching it, or a dog. So, you got to get down and look. Somebody is touching the socket, or the cable, or the cord with their feet. That's what's happening. Okay, was I right?
I don't know.
Are there any other interruptions? Okay, let's get back in here. I got to make my point.
Okay.
All right, so if that is your belief or non-belief, if I was a non-believer or believer, and I knew that the Jews were the chosen people of Christ, and the end of days, end of times would kind of, that would be the caveat, the world versus the Jews. And I started seeing the world turn against Jews. Do you think for self-preservation that people might just say, let's not screw with the Jews? Let's stay out of Israel. Because everything that was prognosticated to happen, or the predictions in the Bible, that is a pretty scary one to be screwing with if you're a non-believer, because ultimately, if you are a non-believer and it happens, that's not conducive to what you want. And if you are a believer, some faiths and other faiths, but it just depends, fear the event, and others are acceptance that the second coming of Christ will be a blessing and a good thing. But don't you think we should probably listen? And if we're starting to see this anti-Semitism, if you're starting to see to a point where Zionism is now an evil word, which is simply just that Israel has the right to live, Israel has a right to continue as a sovereign nation. That's what Zionism is. It's a takeover of the world. It's not an ugly word, but it's now, instead of calling people slurs, and being anti-Semitic, now it's, oh, I can't even criticize the Jews because I'm anti-Semitic. So now I'm just going to talk about Zionism, but we all know what they're talking about.
Oh.
So my point is if the Bible continues to show itself, and the signs, you say, well, I need a sign from God that he exists, but you continue to see these signs and you ignore them, then that's on you, pal. But the more that I see this anti-Jewish sentiment grow, and I see the destruction of Israel, not on the precipice, but moving towards that, do you think maybe we might just want to be really careful?
You think? You would think.
THC is the least of the worries. Fentanyl is an epidemic. Yeah, but marijuana isn't not with the stuff they're putting in it, because this is how they're gatewaying fentanyl into people. So marijuana is dangerous. And a lot of these labs, like I predicted, are going to start competing for their clientele by making stronger versions of marijuana. And a lot of these pot shops and these head shops are putting fentanyl in their mixes. And people are dying. I covered this a year ago. So marijuana is not just some innocuous drug. There's, sure, drunk driving accidents have went down, but driving while intoxicated has gone up. You can talk about work productivity. You can talk about people who are not passing drug policy. You can talk about how crime has gone up, maybe gone down in a sense of malicious and felonious crime, but there are other crimes that have gone up. I think it's important to understand that marijuana, although a harmless drug, if you're sitting on your couch and you're watching a movie and having some potato chips, so is Vicodin. Fairly harmless drug. But the moment that you start operating a vehicle, or the moment you start going to work, or you have to have quick reflexes and make a decision, neither are good. And I'm not a big fan of legalizing any drug.
No.
Yeah. So our kids all drugs are a danger. Do I think everyone should have access? I think if you're over 18 years old and you want to go and buy marijuana, you should be able to. Just like you could go, but either we ban it all because drinking is the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think whiskey, even though I've got 7 bottles back there, is good in excess. Alcohol's horrible in excess. But so are donuts. So I think everything's okay in moderation. Do I think it's okay to smoke a joint? Sure. And if my daughter at 16 says, Dad, I want to know what it's like to smoke marijuana, I'm going to go buy her a joint. We're going to smoke a joint together on the patio. And I'm going to let her experience it with me so she knows what it feels like and I can explain what's happening. And then if she decides to choose to do that then that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm not going to hide it. I've never hid anything from my daughter, and she's made the right choice. Never hid anything from my son. He's made the right choice. I get it, Amy. I was just saying my point. Sorry. So I know Olivia and I are under the like-minded that if my kid wants to know what it's like to drink, then sit down, we'll have a glass of scotch.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that if you hide something from a child, they're going to do it anyway, and they're going to do it the wrong way. And that's when people get hurt. And telling them something and telling them a lie about it to keep them away from it is not going to work, because they're going to find, especially in today's day and age with internet, but they're going to talk to their friends. They're going to see it on YouTube. They're going to see it on the internet, and they're going to do it, and then they're going to hide it.
Yeah.
So they don't get in trouble. And that's when it gets dangerous, because that's when they have unprotected sex and either get an STD or get pregnant. Or that's when they do a drug that's laced with fentanyl. That's, so being open and honest with your kids, and like we have been, and telling them what the world is like and letting them know, hey, we know at this age, you're probably going to want to try this. So you come to us. When you are ready to do this, you come to us. You're not going to be in trouble. Have that conversation so we can help keep you safe. Not to keep you from it. Depends on what it is. But so we can protect you while you do it. And that's, that's where we are. It's completely opposite of how I was raised. And I think, I think everyone raises their kids a little different than they were raised. But I think it's a smarter way, because I can tell you my kids are not rebellious, but not nearly as rebellious as my sister was.
Yeah. And then what's the new drug that uses human bones?
Ooh, I've never heard of that.
So I think it's called Kush.
Ooh. And
I think it was in Africa. East Africa is where it generated. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it's essentially a synth drug. It takes cannabinoids, a form of cannabis, and fentanyl or opioids, and then nitrazines, and mixes it up. And there has been rumors that there's things like formaldehyde and acetone and everything else as precursors in it. But a lot of people say that is ground with human bones, and I don't know I don't know the answer to this. But my point is this: Jared said alcohol is poison. No, it's not. Alcohol in excess is poison. But there are studies that just show you a glass of wine a day is good for you. It's good for the cardiovascular system, the heart, the kidneys, the liver. It's good. It's a natural cleanser for the body, and it's good for your blood to thin out your blood a little bit, and it lowers your blood pressure. So my yaya, she drank a drank a bottle of wine a day. And that woman, I think, lived to 100. That thing's really popping loud, Liv. Can you ease up?
The dog.
What has she got?
She's chewing on one of the mice, I think.
Can you look to make sure it's not one of the cables?
No, it's a mouse.
So that's the thing is, my yaya lived to, I think, 103. And what works for one doesn't work for the other. Look at Greg Louganis. The guy could walk through a wall, then testicular cancer. And, Jared says you can keep telling yourself that. You can keep fucking being ignorant. I don't know why you're getting flippant with me. Alcohol isn't poison. So what you're saying to me, okay, so if I have arsenic on the table and I have a glass of scotch, I'm going to yield the same result from having a glass of scotch from poison? Why are you pretending that I drink more than maybe once or twice a year? I don't know. I don't know why you're getting an attitude. I'm not telling myself that. It's a fact. You have absolutely no scientific evidence that one beer or one glass of whiskey or a glass of wine is poison. Please give me the scientific data to back me up, to back yourself up on that. I'll wait. Now, if you drink an entire bottle of alcohol, is it a poison? No. It would be more of like a neurotoxin more than a poison, because it's going to shut down your nervous system. It's going to shut down your heart, your brain. And it's not like a poison that affects one part of the body, which would cause cardiac arrest or a brain aneurysm or some sort of blood illness. Alcohol shuts down because your body has a very regulated balance of chemicals that can allow into its network. And the moment that you have too much of one thing, whether it be cholesterol or whether it be cyanide or whether it be a glass of scotch that turns into a fifth, you can kill yourself in excess. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, Jared.
I got a question for Carrie.
Yeah, go ahead.
She said doctors tell you to drink a glass of wine a day for menopause. It helps menopause.
Yeah,
what?
Olivia, shit, there goes a bottle. There goes a bottle a day.
Please email me, olivia@thedumbshow.com, and tell me all about this, because if I can have an excuse to drink a glass of wine tonight, I would be happy to.
but it's not a poison. Now, any more than Vicodin's a poison. Yes, anything in large amounts. Gasoline's a poison. You shouldn't consume it. But if you inhale gasoline and remove the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream, you can die. Same thing with CO2, but that's most assuredly a poison. It's a noxious chemical designed to kill you if ingested or inhaled in the wrong mixtures. So in the sense that alcohol can be a poison if consumed at a vast amount, but a 6-year-old can have a shot of pretty much just about anything and will not die. They might get sick. They might get a little woozy and stumble, but they're not going to die. The problem with alcohol is it's an addictive property, and with addiction comes overindulgence, comes death eventually, because you indulge until your body basically kills itself. So as a poison, no. As a dangerous substance that can kill you, most assuredly alcohol is that, but it's not a poison. Any more than taking some raisins and bread and heating it up in a tin cup and then letting it sit and cool and then adding yeast is going to create rye and going to create an alcohol when it ferments. Is that poison? Well, nothing in there is poisonous in its own right. But when mixed with certain other chemicals, creates a compound and a reaction that produces an alcoholic substance, predominantly the yeast. It's not poison. It's something that you shouldn't do in abundance. Folks, 161 people on. It's a whole bunch. We've got $115 on donations. We need to move the needle. What time is it?
No, 185. It is 8:52.
Oh, God. We got 8 minutes to hit what?
185.
All right, folks. It's a slow night. We'll be right back.
Join wimkin.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at wimkin.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
Oh, the media. Here is a clip from 2020 and 2024 from MSNBC. And in 2020, the Hunter Biden laptop story is a Russian hoax and it's fake and it's all this. Oh my God, someone ban that person, whoever it is. I don't care who it is. Oh, no, hold on. Don't ban Jared. He's absolutely, here's clear, engaging version of your message about alcohol that stays under 5,000 characters and is great for sharing. You just use ChatGPT for your answer. You just use ChatGPT. So basically, you don't know what you're talking about. You punched it in the ChatGPT because you can't support with your own data. So you're hoping that this is going to be relevant enough to what I said. Want to bet me that it's not even close. Let's read it. Is alcohol poison? Let's talk truth. It might surprise you to hear this, but yes, alcohol is a toxin. Never said it wasn't. That's different than a poison. It's different than poison. If something is toxic, it doesn't make it a poison. Let's immediately chat. Oh, can't believe you use ChatGPT. That is so freaking okay. Watch this. I'm going to have ChatGPT argue against you.
Kev.
The Kevster donated $10.80. A toxin is a harmful substance produced by living organisms such as plants, animals, bacteria, or fungi. For example, certain toxins are made by bacterium. Toxins are usually biologically derived and often affect specific biological pathways or functions. A poison is a broader term that refers to any substance, natural or synthetic, that can cause harm or death to a living organism if ingested, inhaled, or absorbed. You said it was a poison. So now you're switching because ChatGPT just said it was a toxin. So you put something in ChatGPT because you can't make the argument yourself. You've already proven yourself wrong. The apology can come now, or do you want me to get past the second sentence? Because this is just going to get worse, Jared. Let's let it get worse. Technically speaking, ethanol, the kind of alcohol in beverages, is classified as a poison to the human body. But what does that actually mean, even though it just said it was a toxin? And we know that there are clear delineations between a toxin and a poison, so the AI has already screwed up. This is why you don't use AI against me. Let's break it down. What alcohol does to your body. Your liver works overtime to process alcohol because it sees it as a toxin. It can only handle about 1 drink per hour. More than that, and it starts to build up in your system. So even in this, it tells you that it's not a poison or a toxin because it's not going to kill you. That you can only really take 1 drink per hour, and your body is capable of going ahead and processing it. Just like it's able to process carbohydrates and simple sugars and certain fatty acids and saturated fats and monos and everything else, your body can process a certain amount of intake. And just because it can only have 1 drink per hour, it doesn't mean it's a negative effect on you. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, slowing down your brain function, impairing judgment, and affecting memory. Yes, in excess. In excess. If I have 1 beer, I promise you that I am not impacted in a detrimental way that I can't function. It dehydrates you and puts strain on the liver. So does salt. Kidneys, pancreas, heart, and even your immune system. Once again, I already told you there's been scientific studies that show you that alcohol can lower your blood pressure. The body turns alcohol into a simple sugar known as a carcinogen that can also cause cancer-causing substances. So your ChatGPT article has just linked alcohol use to cancer, and you're doing that with a straight face, huh? Long-term high alcohol poisoning from excess drinking can be deadly. No shit. So can playing in traffic. So can chronic masturbation with razor blades. But it doesn't mean that's what we're doing. Regular or heavy drinking increases the risk of liver disease like cirrhosis, pancreatitis, brain damage, mental health disorders, addiction, cancer, especially of the breast, liver, throat, and colon. It's interesting that we say this because I have never heard that drinking causes anything to do with cancer. All those other things, absolutely, especially cirrhosis, liver disease. Even small amounts can raise certain cancer risks. This is why organizations like the World Health Organization and the CDC, and they've been such a bang up organization so far, right? The World Health Organization, you know, the ones that told us to stay 3 feet, 6 feet, the one to get 1 vaccine, 2 vaccines, 3 vaccines, double up, triple up.
No mask.
Mask, no mask. Wash hands, don't wash hands. It's airborne. It's contact tracing. Let's go ahead and no. These are the people. Because once again, alcohol and cancer, I have not heard those connections.
I've never heard of that either.
I have never heard alcohol and cancer. Your body treats alcohol differently than food. Unlike carbs, fats, and proteins, even though the main ingredient in alcohol is carbs, which is simple sugars, your body cannot store alcohol. So when you drink, your body pauses fat burning and other metabolic processes to focus on getting rid of the alcohol first. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You're telling me you don't burn calories on alcohol? You sweat on alcohol. You're burning calories. Even the process of metabolizing the alcohol is burning calories. That is the dumbest comment I've ever heard in my life. This is why you don't use ChatGPT. This can slow weight loss and mess with your ooh, it sounds scientific, mess with your energy levels. Can it give you a Z formation while it's at it? Can it put the defense and the ism in defense mechanism.
Ooh, that's going to stain.
What about moderate drinking? Sure, some people drink occasionally with little noticeable harm, but the truth, this is the dumbest. I cannot believe you linked this to me. Dog's doing it again. Doesn't mean harmless. Alcohol affects everyone differently based on genetics, health status, and even, look at Andre the Giant. The guy drank a gallon of beer an hour. You take a look at me, I can have 2 or 3 beers and I'll be fine. You look at Olivia, you give her 1 shot of tequila and she literally has her panties on her head.
Tequila, no, I don't do well with tequila.
For people managing conditions like diabetes, kidney issues, thyroid imbalances, or even light drinking can throw off their health. CJ, thank you for your donation at 2110. I appreciate it. Whether you're looking after your physical health, mental clarity, or spiritual, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and respond. Chat.
What about when Jesus turned water into wine?
Yeah. If it's not bad for Jesus.
I highly doubt he gave people a toxin or a poison. But just.
Here we go. Alcohol is sometimes described as having potential health benefits. Here's the nuanced answer. Moderation is key. Some studies have suggested that moderate alcohol consumption, typically defined as up to 1 drink per day for women or up to 2 drinks per day for men, might have some certain benefits. Cardiovascular health. Some research shows that moderate drinking can increase HDL, good cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and possibly reduce the risk of coronary artery disease and heart attack. Social and relaxation benefits. Alcohol in moderation can lower stress, promote social bonding, and help some people unwind or get laid. However, these potential benefits can be overshadowed by the well-known risk of alcohol, addiction, and dependence, cancer risk. Although small and unproven, even moderate drinking could be linked to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast and liver cancer. Accidents and injuries. In summary, small amounts of alcohol might offer some benefit, and excess use can be detrimental. Hardly a toxin or a poison by definition. I used ChatGPT to minimize what I said because I had way too many characters. So you just typed 5,000 words in less than 2.5 minutes, huh? From a person who can type 5,000 words in about 22 minutes, I think you're full of shit.
Now, the only way it would be considered a poison is for someone who's an alcoholic because, they can't have it in their system.
All right, so Jared, here we go. I don't need to apologize for anything, man. That's how I feel, and I don't care how you feel. I only care about facts, which you are lacking. You decided to make an argument, and you were wrong in the first sentence. Then you went to ChatGPT and basically said, ChatGPT, make my argument for me because I can't do it. And then you were wrong there, too, on multiple occasions. Then I went ahead and pulled it up in ChatGPT, which said the opposite of what you said. I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea what you're saying when you say alcohol is a poison and a toxin. I have no clue. I don't. As much as red meat is a toxin and a poison, as much as McDonald's is a toxin and a poison. Once again, the design of alcohol isn't to kill you. The design of alcohol is to be a stimulant. And that's what it is, and it's also a depressant. And in excess can lead to varied results depending upon who is doing the drinking. I know it's not good for you is terrible. It keeps people, it might loosen up, but know what God's Holy Spirit can loosen you up too. He can give you boldness. What was it, the Last Supper? Do you know how many references Weiner in the Bible? Hundreds. I'm not mad. It's just, I didn't like what you said. I didn't like what you said. You made it sound like I somehow was trying to deceive people based upon your reaction. Tell me that's wrong. You said you can keep telling yourself that. That is a flippant, disrespectful, and a dismissive statement. That I wouldn't let anyone talk to me like that. If you didn't mean that, then you can simply say, hey, that's not what I meant. Okay, well, then we're cool now. But you can say to me, you can keep telling yourself that, and what you're doing is you're treating me like some bitch on the street. I'm just not going to accept that. I don't appreciate it, so I came down on you as hard as I felt you deserved. Whether you like that or not is immaterial to me. Once again, you're in your feelings. I'm stating facts. Okay? Hey, grab me some water before you go to bed, will you?
Yeah.
Let me squirt.
She officially destroyed.
Okay. I'm going to truly live by God. Then I need. Well, God doesn't tell you not to drink alcohol. in any way, shape, or form. There's nowhere in the Bible that says you shouldn't drink. Like I said, it's just my opinion. All I did was ChatGPT was tape, but when I said I have it minimized into 5,000 characters, I would never use ChatGPT against people. It's just, if you don't know and have the stats, then don't talk about it. It's not a toxin. It's not a poison. That's not what alcohol is designed to do. Now, if you talk about alcohol, the property of ethanol and the transfer of the chemical composition of what it can do, I will tell you again, if you drink straight rubbing alcohol, okay, you're going to die. But will you die if you drink 1 milliliter? No. If you drink a cap full, you're not going to be in a good spot. And if you drink a half a cup, thank you, son. Good night. Have a good night.
Love you, bud.
You're probably going to die. But if you have a vodka and, I don't know, 130 proof, and I give my son a shot for his cough, is he going to die? No. No. No way. Because understand this, there's also levels of alcohol in cough medicine.
There's a reason you have to be of age to buy cough medicine.
Right.
NyQuil, Dayquil. All of the good cough syrup and cough medicines are behind the pharmacy counters now, and you have to be ID'd to get them.
I just don't know why we would use ChatGPT and not just, you are a longtime listener. You're a person I really, really like. You're a mod for the show. I care about you. I just wouldn't talk to you like that. And see, this is who I am. If you're kind and respectful, I'll be kind and respectful. If you come off as flippant and kind of snarky, you're going to get the same thing from me. I am a shit in, shit out type of guy. This is who I am. That's all. Just don't use ChatGPT, because you're not, you made your argument worse. Like what you could have said to me is, Matt, I didn't mean like a poison or a toxin to kill you, but the long-term effects are bad. Okay, that's fine. You can say that. Long-term effects of alcohol more than likely could be bad if in excess. But having 1 drink a day, it's not going to increase your risk of cancer to a point that they could really have that sample. You couldn't disprove that it didn't. So how can you prove it did? Karen says, it does contain yeast, doesn't it? Certain alcohol. Not all alcohol, right? Many people in war settings on battlefield needed that whiskey to help saw off legs, etc. Right. Listen, it has a benefit. Alcohol has a benefit, but anything in excess can kill you. Folks, mouthwash has alcohol in it. You're right. I mean, guys, they put ephedrine in pills and cough medicine up until 20 years ago. So you were having speed. Advil's good for you. Tylenol. You can take Tylenol up to 800 milligrams a day, I believe. Anything more than that, and you're going to fry your liver. Methanol, yeah, right. Go suck on ethanol gas at the pump. These are the same people that told you that eggs were bad for you. Now eggs are good for you. My cholesterol is better than it ever has, and I have 3 eggs a day. I would only have egg whites. And my good cholesterol wasn't solid. When I started doing avocados and started doing eggs, but remember when it was, you have to eat egg whites. Don't eat the yolk. Take the yolk out. Take the egg whites out. There's too much protein. It'll harm your overall kidneys. Go ahead and come on, they don't know. Aspirin. Get on an aspirin regimen. Don't take aspirin. They don't know. But everything that I've seen, from a grandmother who lived to 103, from a person who has a drink or 2 a year, which truly is. I can't even tell you the last time I had a whiskey. I can tell you there were days that I would drink in excess, and it certainly wasn't good for me. But I can tell you there was a time when I had 1 or 2 drinks every day, and I was in the best shape of my life. So I don't know what to tell you. Don't use ChatGPT. You're smarter than that. I expect more from you than that. Come on, ChatGPT. All right, folks. Olivia had to step out. We are, big time behind, 146.94 on our goal. Hey, Liv, where'd you go? All right, I don't know where Liv is. She left. Yeah, I remember when they said tomato juice would give you cancer. I remember that too. Guys, I don't know what happened to Olivia. She just left. Here is the last portion of the conversation that we got sidetracked on. And it's okay. We don't get sidetracked very often, so it's good to get sidetracked now. Here is the investigation from the FBI and the District Attorney, State Colorado, Judicial 20th District, talking about the Egyptian terrorist.
My office has charged Mohammed Sabri Solomon, age 45, with the commission of a hate crime under 18 U.S.C. Section 249. When that offense includes attempted murder, the statutory maximum federal sentence is life in prison. No one should ever be subjected to violence of any kind. But our laws recognize that such violence is particularly pernicious when someone is targeted because of their race, their religion, or their national origin. According to our complaint and the charges brought by DA Doherty's office, Mr. Solomon stated that he had been planning this attack for a year. And he acted because he hated what he called the Zionist group. But what the charges allege that he did was to throw Molotov cocktails at a group of men and women, some of them in their late 80s, burning them as they peacefully walked on a Sunday to draw attention to Israeli hostages held in Gaza. And when he was interviewed about the attack, he said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again. He said that he had previously tried to purchase a firearm, but resorted to the Molotov cocktails when he could not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen. I remind you that Mr. Solomon is presumed innocent until proven guilty. My office and our partners hope justice will help heal the people in this community and in the communities throughout the country shaken by yesterday's attack. We fully intend to hold Mr. Solomon accountable for his actions, and these charges are the first step.
So it comes down to this. You're going to have a choice. You deport the guy and have his home country take care of him. But honestly, I think you make a federal case of it and you give him the gas chamber. I'm sorry.
I would too.
Just kill him. Because
it's an example needs to be made that this has to stop.
Yes.
And otherwise it's just going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And yeah, it's going to escalate. So an example needs to be made for sure. So, absolutely needs to go. We are at 147, if I can read that properly.
Yep, 146.94.
Yes, at 147. Just rounded up the 6 cents. So we are 153 away from our goal. We would gladly appreciate it if you can help. We would gladly appreciate it. Facebook has completely cut our funding. We, I think, made $13 in the month of May from them. So there are absolutely no help and no hope for Facebook, because no matter what they do, it's taken one step forward and then like 10 steps back. So I don't think we're ever going to get ahead with them. But in order to keep the show free, which we want to do, we rely on donations from our amazing viewers like you. And if you can't help, then just sharing out and spreading the word about our show is help enough. So, but if you can help monetarily, we would greatly appreciate it.
Now's the time, folks. If everyone gave $10, we would hit it in 2 minutes. We've got 152 people on regular social media, and then another 100 plus on how many people on Rumble and Wimpkin?
Let's find out.
So if you haven't had a chance, folks, please do it. Here is Anthony Weiner, who is making a comeback. Now, the interesting thing about Mr. Weiner is he likes to show his wiener.
Yes, he does.
He's a convicted pedophile and registered sex offender. He appeared on The View as part of an attempted political comeback, signaling plans to run for office again. When they questioned him about his past, he blamed his pedophile nature on addiction and insisted that he's no longer that person. And I will tell you that that's not true. An alcoholic will tell you they're an alcoholic for the rest of their life and they're addicted to poisonous chemicals. Just kidding. And a pedophile is most assuredly addicted to exploiting children. And that is something that isn't cured. The only thing that cures that is 120 grain 9mm.
Or cutting something off.
That's exactly what I said. Is due process is on video done. Yeah, you got to go through it, though. You know how it goes. But here's Anthony Weiner. Mom, did you have one you want to submit? Or did we get
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Why don't you hold on to it? Oh, you're
I
right.
just did it.
Okay. Melanie Marino, 36.55. That helps out tremendously, folks. We have $117 to go. Would really love to hit it. It's been a tough month. We've been doing a lot.
Love to start June out with a bang.
We've just been doing a lot of the show, and people held out for the 20K show. So if you can help out, we'd really appreciate it, folks. Thanks. Here is the video of Weiner. I hate talking about donations. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
You resigned from Congress in 2011 over a sexting scandal. 2 years later, you stepped down from the mayoral race after sexting again under the alias Carlos Danger. And then in 2016, you sent lewd texts to a minor and served 15 months in prison, in addition to becoming a registered sex offender. So with all that said, why do you think, or why should New Yorkers give you a chance at a political comeback?
Because I'm a Democrat, bitch. That's why.
Well, let me just say this. I mean, all of that is happened, and I accept responsibility for it. You won't hear me do what some other people in public life have done, Donald Trump or Andrew Cuomo or Eric Adams. I'm a victim. They persecuted me for no reason. I was dealing with very serious problems. I was dealing with what I now understand to be addiction. I lost my brother Seth to addiction. And I accepted. I didn't ask for a trial. I pled guilty, served my time in prison, served in a halfway house, served probation, went to try to do good work for the formerly incarcerated. And I guess what I'm saying to people is maybe don't vote for me in spite of what they know about me. But
JD gave $25. Liv?
Yes, he did.
JD, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. 208, folks. We're $92 away.
He emailed you a topic for the show, too.
See if you can find it for me.
Maybe consider that journey, that idea that we all go through things and we come out the other side. And also, what does it mean? You know, I'm Jewish, but they have this notion in Catholicism around you suffer for a reason so you can be of service at the other end. So I'm not asking people, I'm doing the opposite of what a lot of politicians do when they're in my position. Ignore that problem, pretend it didn't happen, blame someone else. I am saying, yes, I did these things. I got into recovery. I try to make my life better. And now if I can be of service, and I'm a damn good politician. I come up with answers. I talk to people directly.
You are.
I don't try to.
You are.
You are
butter
not.
over things. I try to be direct.
You're a pedo.
Why shouldn't I? And if it's just because I have bad things in my past, that's not a good enough reason. I mean, look, all I can ever be is who I am right now. And that brought me to this space.
What?
I think his favorite part of the campaign trail is going to be the shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, especially the kissing. That's funny. That was actually, I don't have the rim shot open. The only difference between Trump and Eric Adams is they were politically prosecuted, you small penis twat. You're a kid toucher. You don't get a second chance. You blew your second chance. If Democrats put him in, that's ball game. That's it. Like get a musket and let's square up. Because if they start promoting maps and all the nope. Listen, guys in dresses I can still tolerate and swallow, kind of. But this, no. If you're gonna try to do a second coming of Weiner, that is like Candace Owens trying to rep. Was it Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, I think. Yep.
Yeah, no. You don't get a second chance. Your second chance is when you messed around with children. That's it. You're out.
Yep.
$26.25. Come on, people. We're getting close.
Oh, it's Elephant. I'm sorry. I forgot the
Yep, I know Jeff.
Oliphant.
Jeff helps out. Jeff, thank you so much. Folks, we got to go build. So we're supposed to be off at 9. We're 18 minutes past. We got to but we have to stay. We can't run the show and not hit our 3. The 300 is just, it's what it is to make a scratch, but also pay for the show. We need some help. Get there. You're not a damn good politician. You're just damned. Ooh, that's even better. Carrie, I thought her and Hillary were an item. He's actually making herself the victim. Wasn't Huba Aberdeen?
Yes, it was Hillary's personal assistant.
Yeah, her
his
chief
wife.
of staff.
Yeah, it was his wife. Yeah.
What a douche.
And now somebody said she's dating Sorrell's youngest son.
Of course she is. Here's an interesting one. This was on Football. A Muslim man. I think this guy's in the MMA or some shit. This lady tried to reach.
Wow.
This lady tried to reach out and shake his hand, and he refused it because she's a disgusting infidel woman. Here it is. Watch this.
Wow.
How was everything?
Wow.
How are you guys?
You okay?
Legends here.
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. Apologize. Thank you so much.
How are you?
Habib, the UFC fighter.
Wow. I
It is
apologize.
a pleasure to have you. Thank you so
no.
much.
How are you?
Habib, the UFC fighter.
What I'd be saying to him when the
Yeah.
cameras turned off.
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the
you,
show.
you
Apologize. Thank you so much.
sexist biatch.
Habib, the UFC fighter. It is a pleasure to have you.
No, it's not.
We didn't know you were here.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, I was.
See him
You're a big
eyeballing
PSG
her
fan.
too. What an idiot.
Yes.
Always have been? Lifelong?
Honestly, since when I was a kid, I was Real Madrid fan.
Okay.
Wow.
So let me just make sure I understand this. Homeboy is a UFC fighter, one of the best in the world, and gets on the stage and puts his hand on his, chest and gives a nod. But this is a sign if I'm not mistaken, just work with me, Liv. If I said to you and I said something dumb,
Okay.
like I said, alcohol is a toxin and a poison.
Okay.
And then I said, and then I went like this. And I said, but I'm not trying to say that you're an alcoholic or what if I said to you that, oh, you look really, really young with your hair like that. But I'm not saying you don't look young at all other times. What are my hand gestures saying here?
Yes, you say it, Ash.
Honey,
I'm trying to
when you
think.
do this side, when you put your hand out and you put your hand on your
Usually
chest.
it's like like an emotional thing, like love or, you mean something
that's
to me.
absolutely true. It's kind of like saying, it's not you, it's me. Like like when the kids try to come up and give us a hug and a kiss when we're sick, and we're like, no,
Yep,
don't do
that's
it.
true.
You
No.
say, stay away, but it's me. And you take ownership. So watch it again.
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. Apologize. Thank you so much.
How are you?
Habib, the UFC fighter. It is a pleasure to have you.
So now, is it sexist? Sure. But he's a Muslim. So of course he's sexist. But the way he did it,
It was
kind of like, it's on me, but
it was a
it's against.
respectful dodge.
Yeah, this is against my belief, and you're a woman and you're beneath me, so sit there and shut up. But I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just letting you know you're not really anything to me. So take it. Is it acceptable to do that if it's your religious? Like, I'm not saying she should apologize. She should not apologize. Bobby Richardson, 50. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby, for always carrying us. Always helping. Everyone who donates tonight has been helping. It's $286.73. We're $14 away. Respect. Isn't that his religion? I believe it is, but I'm not 100%. It absolutely is. He's from Kazakhstan. He is considered the best of the best in the MMA, undefeated. And he answered her questions afterwards. He didn't give her side eye, but he was just like, you're just know your place. But I'm not trying to be rude, but this is just my.
Now, I know women are not supposed to be with any man that is not their husband, father,
I'm supposed to
or
put
brother.
your hand on another woman.
Yes. So is that the same, their religion, where they are not to touch another woman unless it's their wife?
Now we're talking. So let's look up ChatGPT. No, I'm just kidding. Jared, when you say it's going to be this way for all night. It's just the way it is. You can donate and I won't say it again. I promise.
Also, it's the fact, and I don't care, but she's black. So is that something against
No,
the
because
religion?
Muslim
Well,
people are black.
Okay.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah, Leroy,
It's in Islamic teachings. The tradition is physical contact between men and women who are not closely related, which is known as mahram, is generally discouraged outside of specific necessary circumstance like medical care or emergencies. But if you're not closely related to the person, if it's not like a mother, sister, or wife, or in a medical situation, you're not supposed to touch another woman's so what he's saying is it's like, no, I can't touch you because you're not mine. Stay there. I don't consider this to be an affront on her. this is a cultural issue that we're not used to, and it bothers us. But honestly, I don't like it when men touch you and grab the back of your elbow and or show some when they embrace you and their hands are too low. I want to stab them in the eye with a fork.
Yeah, women are possessions to them. So if she's married, he does not want to touch somebody else's possession. You know, I guess.
Well, but I don't even. It's not even that. There's a respect there that you're not supposed to touch another man's wife. And that is somebody else's wife. And he's saying, no, this is against. But now, do I care? Well, let me tell you, man, I've taken pictures with people for the show. I've taken pictures of people at conference working with Apple, and I never put my hands on another woman. When I don't put my arms around other women. You will never find a picture with me with my arm around another woman or their waist. It's just not going to happen. I don't do it. But with Damani, I did it. Damani and I did it, but I would never do that with another woman. It's just respect. Now, I would shake her hand.
Yeah.
But to him, any touch, any physical contact that's not medically necessary is a sin. What he did, it's his culture. And whether we agree with it or not, he wasn't trying to be a dick to her. It's his belief. Do we find people who won't eat ham? Are they crazy? No. What if they don't work on the Sabbath? So what about people who won't touch electronics certain days of the week? What about Ash Wednesday? Do we think people who put ash on their forehead and walk around with it all day are a little weird? Religion and cultures, we don't find any of those things weird. And the reason why we don't is because we're used to them and they're part of people we know's religion and we've grown up with it. But Muslims and other religions, Hindu and Buddhists, they do different things than we do and we find it odd.
Yeah. Stuff that's...
A good example of this is when Kyrie spoke to Matt, but not Olivia. Yeah. And guess what? I called him out on it.
So did I.
Because there's nothing his religion said he can't speak to her.
No, he just hates women. And he's a sexist. That's why he didn't want to talk to me.
Well, don't start this again. The fact that he doesn't call in, the fact that he doesn't call in makes me very happy.
Yes.
We're going to just take it to 9:30 because we've got to get $14 more. I feel like we just need to cut all federal funding, in my opinion, to all schools. Michelle says, different sects are different. My son has a close friend who has faith. He gives me a hug when he greets me. It's because he sees me as a mom. That's right. That's what I just said. Yeah. Mom, Fred, close acquaintances. That religion is shit. They treat women and children and animals as shit. Culture or not, yeah, it's his belief, but a culture that treats everyone but men as trash. Once again, I'm not speaking of the efficacy of his beliefs. I'm speaking of why he did it. And once again, it's just to add context where everybody's jumping on this guy and saying he's a sexist pig. I'm like, I can understand why you see that, but there is another reason. That's my point. That's all I'm saying. Jewish people don't work on the Sabbath either, right? There's a lot of things. But I, like, if I was to introduce him to, like, if I knew who he was now that say I was going to go to a UFC fight, which I can't imagine I will, but if I do, and he's in the audience and my wife and I are standing next to each other, I'm not even going to reach to shake his hand. Because if he's not going to shake my wife's hand, I'm not going to shake his either. I'm just going to say, dude, it's awesome. You're a great.
Can I have your phone?
PayPal?
Yes, I'm checking it.
You want the authenticator?
Yes.
We need to do anything we can at this point.
Yes, I'm double checking since we've had so many issues.
So it's just, I'm not advocating for the treatment of women the way he treats them. I'm advocating for the fact that he has a right to have his personal beliefs and he wasn't doing it to offend her.
He did it politely.
The motion was, yeah, like, this is on me, not you. It's the same thing I do. I did it to my son the other day when I gave me a hug goodnight and I wasn't feeling well. I'm like, no, dude, it's on me. What do you think about the raid at Jerry Nadler's office? I think I'll talk about it tomorrow because I have to do this. We need to defund and stop all visas for education in the United States. Every single dollar. Any luck, Mom? Any donations so we can go?
I'm looking.
$14, folks. All we got to do. $14. God, I wish Facebook wasn't throttling us. You know, it sucks. Here's this video. And Liv, you got to hear this.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm looking.
We have to defund these schools and college campuses. Nobody, no federal dollar, no state dollar, well, federal dollar, no federal dollar should go to any educational institution in the United States ever, period, forever, never, ever again. Listen to this crazy ass.
Good afternoon, friends, family, loved ones, community members, and of course, the
It's just like Anne Hathaway, but with a tan.
MIT class of 2025. I'm so incredibly grateful to be here with you all today to reflect on our time at the Institute, to celebrate what we have accomplished, and to encourage us to approach the future with intentionality and integrity. It is no secret that at this time, academic institutions across the country are shrouded in a dark cloud of uncertainty. The question of what will happen next echoes in our minds, and there is a lot of fear in many of our hearts. We must remind ourselves that when we came to this institution, we dreamt of the opportunity to make an impact on humanity. We have been given the privilege of access to a place like this, to a community like this, and it is now time to make use of it. We cannot allow fear to keep us from doing that. You have faced the obstacle of fear before, and you turned it into fuel to stand up for what is right. You showed the world that MIT wants a free Palestine.
It was great up until that.
Last spring,
See you, Amy.
Bye, Ames.
Last spring, MIT's undergraduate body and graduate student union voted overwhelmingly to cut ties with the genocidal Israeli military. You called for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. And you stood in solidarity with the pro-Palestine activists on campus. You faced threats, intimidation, and suppression coming from all directions, especially your own university officials. But you prevailed because the MIT community that I know would never tolerate a genocide. Right now, while we prepare to graduate and move forward with our lives, there are no universities left in Gaza. We are watching Israel try to wipe Palestine off the face of the earth, and it is a shame that MIT is a part of it.
Trying, they've done a pretty good job. Just saying. I mean, I would give them like a 9.3. I've got some thoughts, and I you may too.
The Israeli occupation forces are the only foreign military that MIT has research ties with. This means that Israel's assault on the Palestinian people is not only aided and abetted by our country, but our school. As scientists, engineers, academics, and leaders, we have a commitment to support life, support aid efforts, and call for an arms embargo, and keep demanding now, as alumni, that MIT cuts the ties. Now, I invite you all to join me in the tradition of turning the ring. Please raise your brass rat or grad rat bearing hands, and as you lift it off your fingers, notice that the beaver is no longer facing you. It is now facing the world. This is a world that we will be entering with an immeasurable responsibility. We will carry with us the stamp of the MIT name, the same name that is directly complicit in the ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people.
You need to stop eating all that shawarma, lady. Can't get that ring on.
And so we carry with
Guess that freshman 15 turned into freshman 20.
us the obligation to do everything we can to stop it. Class of 2025, you are MIT. Pressure is nothing to you. I know you will take it head on, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Ali Ali Akbar.
Wow, it was the first few minutes was great. It was a good speech, and then she said that.
You know what? She can
why
say
does
whatever
it-
she wants, right?
Yeah. Why does it have to be political? And you know, everyone talks about Israel's committing a genocide on Palestine. Well, what about the other way around? They killed a bunch of Israelis too. So, and they did it first. And I know it's nana boo boo.
No, it's not. Because they didn't do it first. They did it scores of times. It was decades of constant attempts to kill Jews. Sandra Edwards, $15. Thanks for the show. Thank you, Sandra. You're sweetie. We love you. Here's my problem. Do you know, Liv?
Yes.
That Claude Samori was Palestinian?
I knew he was Middle Eastern. I know he was Egyptian, but I didn't know.
It's not Egyptian.
I thought he was Egyptian.
Palestinian.
Okay. No.
So Egyptians and Palestinians don't like each other.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you something. The amount of hatred that I've seen from Palestinians, and I've known quite a few, towards Jews is something I have never felt. I hope this helps. It does help, Thomas. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It does help. It's palpable. You can feel it. You can cut the tension with a knife, Liv.
I know.
When I was like, well, I spent time working with the IDF. The moment I said that,
that's when he turned.
He spun to me and was just like,
that's when he
Israel's the devil. Israel's evil. Jews are, and I'm just like, whoa. Mama Judy and family, $15.95. Thank you, Mama Judy. 333.63. Oh, it's almost all threes. But I have had conversations with scores of Jews talking about Palestine, and what you feel from them is like, thank you, Kat, is like pity, disappointment, and I don't hear the hatred from Jews towards Palestinians. I hear frustration. I've heard frustration. And here's what it comes down to. You're earning everything you asked for. This is what you wanted, except from the river to the sea is going to be about you.
If she...
Well, why don't you let things wash over people? Why? I mean, that was a powerful statement I just made. I mean, that's when you should just let that wash. Let that sit there and marinate for a second. Because you want a river to the sea. It comes down to this one more time. If the Jews surrendered yesterday, every single Jew in Israel would be murdered. If Gazans and Palestinians, specifically Hamas, surrendered, they would face trial. They'd be held accountable, and Gaza would be able to go about its day. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm done. It wasn't that good.
She should have gone to university in Gaza. Why be here?
None of them should be funded. Cancel all their visas, get rid of them, kick them out. And the federal government has this choice, but Harvard's like, well, we're going to lose 40% of our student body. Then open up your standards. Since you care about diversity, equity, and inclusion so fucking much, then why don't you allow more Americans in? This is the problem. You know what? You should be at Harvard, should be America first. And if not, go to Oxford.
Why do colleges even need to be federally funded? They cost so freaking much to go there anyway. The students pay. Elementary school, your grade schools, students don't pay. Yes, we pay taxes for it, but because the students don't pay.
Yeah. Well, the federal government, it has to do with the education process of the federal government, is to make sure that its citizenry is educated and successful and intelligent. So the federal government funds these schools on top of what they get for substantial growth and expansion. And the problem is that these Harvard and Ivy League school and all schools are accepting foreign students and meeting the federal quota. But that's great. They're doing their job. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But they're also brainwashing these kids and allowing these kids to come in here under the guise of freedom of speech to create anti-sentiment towards the United States. You're creating at-home terrorists. You're radicalizing people. And you become an institution of terrorism. Can't do that.
In my opinion, okay, so you've got public school and you've got private school for grade school. Private school you have to pay for. Public school, it's free minus taxes, right? Well, in public school, they have to follow certain guidelines. Private school, it's private. They're not federally funded, and they can do whatever the hell they want.
This is correct.
So if colleges want to say whatever they want and they want to be pro-Palestine and they want to allow that crap and they want to be, whatever, racist against Jews or whatever, then be privately funded and stop taking federal money. And when you're privately funded and you can then run your school how you want it, great.
Yeah,
but be privately funded.
But federal funding is kind of a mandate. I mean, this goes back to the days of Truman. This goes back to the days of FDR, where the belief was education is good for the population. It's good for the country. It's good for the citizenry. That academic excellence in education is fundamental to our country's success. So the federal government invests in these institutions to do just that. The federal government does not invest in these institutions to become anti-American sentiment, because that's antithetical to what presidents have wanted. So pull the funding. Or revoke all their visas. You have that control. Just cut their visas, ship them off. Bye. You're anti-American? That's fine. This didn't work out. Have a wonderful day. Your visas, your education visa, your student visa is now revoked. Well, wait a second. What about my freedom of speech? You've had it, and now this is ours.
Yeah.
See, freedom of speech doesn't mean you get to say whatever the fuck you want, and I just get to sit here and listen to it. My freedom of speech the freedom of speech is positive intent for the person you're speaking to. They have a right to disagree with you, and the federal government has a right to do that too. And they can simply just say, we are kicking you out of our country because we don't like your speech, and we don't have to listen to it. You are not going to create and harbor at-home terrorism like you've done in Europe and other countries that are losing its cultural identity. Kick them out. Stop every single... And you know what I would do? I would actually offer an incentive with the money that we save from that, giving it to federal, private college institutions that are funded by the states and federal government, that you could actually do terms of service. So faculty and staff could, once you graduate, you have to spend a year or two at that institution, help teaching and cultivating and developing students. Why not? Why not trade education for services? Why not go ahead and train state and federal doctors who have to work in private-run hospitals that are community-based for 2 years and their education's for free? You wouldn't have to hire doctors anymore. You wouldn't have to get dentists. You could offer healthcare to places and have doctor services be free, which is the whole problem with healthcare. Free healthcare is using people's service like slavery. So why not stop the billions and billions and billions and billions going into these federal institutions, let them do their thing, create private institutions that are going to help the free market, make them state and federally funded, a co-op, create a new form of university that is federal and state, and have the people who graduate, the engineers, work for the civil service for 2 years. Have the people who are botanists, have them work for the Peace Corps for 2 years, and then have their scholarship deferred. If you're going to waste money, why don't you waste it the right way? Ash agrees with me.
She's dreaming.
Folks, thank you for everything tonight. Liv, did you have anything else on this Anne Hathaway lookalike?
No, just, and she has no accent. So she's very possibly, she's born here. Because a lot of these protesters are American citizens.
She was wearing a keffiyeh.
I know, I saw that.
So if she's wearing a keffiyeh, and she has an accent, by the way, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
Very much. So, very much. So, get them out.
Yeah, I agree.
Just stop funding these schools and do something else with the money. Do something else with the money.
Yep.
Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Tomorrow night, Liv, who is it?
You and Leroy.
Leroy and I, we have to actually go and put up some boards if we can get to that tonight. If not, maybe we just take the night off and get some rest because we need it. We haven't had it.
I was actually going to suggest that because we also kept Ethan up last night because it was really, really loud. So I'm thinking that we...
Well, Olivia, if we go to bed early, it's going to be really, really loud in another way.
Exactly. But, he's used to that.
That's so gross and so uncalled for.
But yeah,
our son doesn't hear that stuff.
No,
that's evil stuff. The only person he's going to hear is you.
Yeah.
Because I'm quiet. Like, I'm quiet. You're I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. You're a banshee. Like, you break wine glasses.
Portuguese.
You speak Portuguese and break wine glasses. I mean, let's be honest. All right.
Yeah, I say we do that.
Let's take a night off. Let's go take a night off, go relax, and then we'll hit it again tomorrow. Leroy and I tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for everything. See you 2 Wednesday. Take the night off and see you 2. We're not going to take the night off. We'll be here tomorrow, but we're going to rest tonight and not go work. We're just going to, take the night off.
Yes.
And not go do anything in the room.
Yeah, from working in the studio is what we're talking about. Oh, did you show the picture of Hayden?
Oh my God. You guys might want to wait for this. Don't leave. Oh, so my daughter, okay, you tell them about the Cappies quickly. I mean, don't be too long.
Cappies is the high school equivalent of the Tonys. It's just an award. It's a national award program.
You had it.
Yeah.
It's the Tonys.
Yeah, and I had no idea. I thought it was like the tri-state area. Nope, it's national. One of Hayden's friends she went to school with in Texas is there tonight.
So Hayden came to me and said, well, I'm going to go to the Cappies. I said, are you nominated for anything? She said, no. And I said, no, you can't go. And she's like, why? And I said, because you're not nominated for anything. But my friends are. I'm like, well, then you can pay for it with your own money. I'm not paying for a dress and shoes and, jewelry and all that crap. And there's just no way. And she's like, fine. And of course, I'm a sucker. So she's like, I'll pay half. It's $40. And I'm like, fine. And then I just pay for it all. And then she's like, well, I'll just wear an old dress. And I said, no, you can't. You got to wear a new dress. You're not wearing that. That's too small. You need to look elegant and pretty because you are and you deserve to. And she's like, okay. And then she says, well, I'm going with Will. And I said, okay, Will's her boyfriend. And honestly, this relationship is just beautiful. It really is. It's not cute. It's actually based on respect, and it's based on a lot of care. And he treats my daughter the way she deserves to be treated. And honestly, he's kind of a handsome kid when he cleans up. I mean, I was a little surprised. I saw him in the picture, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't look like Lurch.
I thought the same thing.
It's like when he cleans up, he doesn't. Me Mongo, me, Mr. Spear, me hungry. Can me have taco? Yes, that's your 475th taco, but yes,
he actually doesn't eat very much
no,
at
he doesn't.
all.
He
Every
doesn't.
single time he comes over for dinner, he eats less than I do.
So when I was on the floor and I was working, I'm like, Will, and he's like, oh yes, sir. Dude, homeboy picked me up, and I'm 228, 229, and I was like, dude, he's strong. This kid can deadlift like 350. He's a strong boy.
Well, he played varsity football as a freshman.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. I mean, this kid, and he's still growing. I mean, this kid, he's a tight end. He's playing O-line right now, but this kid could be a tight end. He is built like a brick shit house. Anyway, here's the photo, and it absolutely just.
I was like, I wasn't going to be able to see her. So I was like, you better send me a picture because I want to see you in your dress.
Yeah.
And he got a tie to match her dress.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So you can see. I'm trying to do the live thing. But anyway, there it is.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that was.
Happy birthday.
There's her being embarrassed.
Yeah, that was her choir concert, spring choir concert was on her 15th birthday. So I emailed her teacher and I said, can you guys please sing her happy birthday? So
and then
the entire choir sang happy birthday to her.
This is her at birthday dinner. Dude, what is up with this thing?
Isn't it on your photos?
I'm working on it. No, where was it? Oh, here it is.
Oh. And she acts all embarrassed, but we go every year. We take her there every single year for her birthday. And
she won't go anywhere else.
And she won't go anywhere else, even though it really sucked this year. And she acts all like, oh my God, surprised and embarraed every year. But
and JD says, my son plays varsity as a freshman, same build as him, 6'2". You're off by 5 inches. This kid's 6'7". And he's like 245 as a freshman.
Yeah, he's huge.
This kid is like, dude, I'm 6'4", and I look up at him. I'm like,
he was like 6'5" in 7th grade. No joke. Because
This
I
kid's-
was their photographer for the 7th grade play, and he was in it, and I was like, oh my
he
God.
played Beast in Beauty and the Beast, and they didn't need to use makeup.
Yep.
And he's like, he comes in here, he's like, sweet, hello, Mr. Spear. How are you today? And I'm like, I'm fine, bro. Just don't eat me. Ha, ha, ha. That was funny, Mr. Spear. But he's a good kid. And I told him, I said, just because you're big doesn't mean I can't hide your whole fucking body. I'll find a way. He knows.
He's a good kid.
I make fun of him. I make jokes. It's like, me mongo, me hungry. But I like him. He's 6'7". He's 6'7", 245 as a freshman. And he loves my daughter. I really, truly believe he loves her. They're respectful. They get along. And what's funny is that they were in her room and he had a headache. And they were laying on the bed talking, which is fine. I don't care. And they turned the lights off. I do care. Because that's different. You turn the lights off, it's completely different. And as I was walking by, going out to Home Depot, I'm like, what are you guys going to go do? And she goes, we're going to go in our room. And I looked right at him. I said, hopefully with the lights on. And he's like, so he's still 14.
Actually, he's 15.
Whatever. But he is still growing. And they're thinking he might hit 6'9".
Yeah.
This kid's huge, man. He's like, but he's such a nice,
gentle giant.
He's a very nice kid.
It's the little nuances that you know that they really like each other. Like Ash thinks that Will is her boyfriend too. Ash adores him. Whenever he comes over, she won't leave him alone. And she always tries to sit right in the middle of Will and Hayden and split up the two. It's hilarious. And Hayden goes, the last time he was over, and she goes, you love her more than me. And he goes, yeah, I love her more than I love you. But it's the fact that he said, I love her more than I love you. And she's like, oh my gosh.
And the thing is that when I was 14 or 15, there were people who I cared about. So I don't care. I'm not going to define this. People tried to keep us apart. People at our wedding were gambling on how long our relationship would last.
Yep.
They thought we were going to last
bets on
6 months, 7 a year.
They made bets on when we'd be divorced.
And now we've been together for 26 years. Married for 23. Right?
We have been married 23 in August.
I just said that.
Yeah, well, sorry.
God, you corrected me. Oh. Snoop Dogg says, what's up, cuh? Who said dog? It's me, Snoopy Doggy Dog. Wow, we are honored to have you, Snoop. We're just talking about the consumption of marijuana, and just you appeared. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here in the hizzle, my bizzle. All right, folks, we're leaving. Appreciate you. Snoop Dogg's here. We've been eclipsed. What if this is the real Snoop? I mean,
that'd be great.
It's not.
Totally.
Is it the real Snoop?
No.
Because I don't think he calls himself Snoop Doggy Dog. Just in his song. I don't think I've ever heard him say, yo, man, Snoop Doggy Dog. I don't know. I think it's too many syllables for him.
I don't know. I don't know any of his songs. So, I mean, I could.
Sipping on gin juice.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Yep.
That's all I know. I don't know the rest. I got out of that. I was into rap when it was like Tupac and NWA and KRS-One and Kool Moe D. Good rap. Fab Five Freddy. Slick Rick. The Run DMC. The good rap. And then,
Mike Tyson's also here.
What's going on, Mike? Really appreciate it for you being here tonight. I'm hoping that you don't, thanks for being here. It's really good to see you. All right, Mike. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, Mike. We got Mike Tyson and Snoop Dogg in the building. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion meter is full. That's 2 black people on the show. Shit, we're done for a year. We're good.
I wonder if his tiger's watching.
No, he says, what up, cuh? Ask if he likes Trump. That would be the tell. Hey, Snoop, what is it this week? Do you like Trump or not like Trump? And Mike Tyson, can you do me a favor and work on something for the next 20 minutes? Could you spell Trump for me?
Try not to bite anyone's ear off in the
T-R-U-M-P.
process.
That's not very funny. I like. It's not funny.
You cut me off.
I'm so sorry, babe. I'm sure it was going to be golden. Go ahead.
I said try not to bite anyone's ear off in the process.
That sucked.
I know.
It's delivery.
Yeah. Oh,
Cut.
P. Diddy's here now. Whoa.
You know,
I
P-
thought P. Diddy was in jail.
Yeah, P. I'm wondering, man. It's three black people.
Yeah, I'm
Listen,
just
this
curious.
is kind of getting a little too mixed for me. I'll just be honest with you. I'm kind of feeling a little threatened. We didn't expect to have a kid toucher in here.
He said THRUMP.
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 Mike. It's nice, Mikey. You're doing good with Thrump.
That's good.
It's good, buddy.
Oh,
That's good.
goodness.
Very
He's
well
trying.
done. Nice
He's
try.
trying. Okay.
Thrump. No, you got it. Them. You're fine. You're
Trump?
doing, Mike.
Yep.
You're doing fine.
Good.
So let me ask you a question. P. Diddy, Mike Tyson, and Snoop Dogg walk into a bar. What are they drinking?
Gin and juice.
Snoop Dogg's drinking gin and juice. What's Mike Tyson drinking?
I have no idea.
What do you think it would be? What do you think Mike Tyson would drink? Think he's like a Budweiser guy, Coors guy, Bud Light guy?
Vodka?
No, it's too prim and proper. Vodka in like Harlem in the Bronx?
That's beer.
Where the hell do you think he got? It's probably beer. It's probably just like white labeled beer. So I'll take anything on tap, please. Molson Golden, Michelob. What do you think P. Diddy drinks?
Apple juice. I don't know.
P. Diddy?
Yeah.
Apple juice?
I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Hey, Donald H. Trump is here. Huge stream today. Yeah, not on YouTube, bud.
Unfortunately,
It's funny. You guys are making it bigger. I mean, you just basically increased our numbers by 170%. So it's YouTube.
Hennessy?
Hennessy? Who? Mike?
No, that's what Melanie said, Hennessy. Rum punch. People are guessing on what P. Diddy would be drinking.
Blood from the ear. Ooh, that's good. I think P. Diddy, would it be urine? Or is that R. Kelly? That was R. Kelly, right? Yeah. Like, you make my life complete. Want to use your face as a toilet seat. I want to piss on you.
Yep.
Do.
Well, R. Kelly's
piss on
going to make
you.
a stop in right now, too. Watch.
You think R. Kelly? Oh, if R. Kelly gets here, this is gonna be the shit. Baby oil. JD crushed it. Well done, JD. Well done, baby oil.
Oh,
So-
Melanie and
Melanie
JD,
and
same
JD
thing,
drinks
same
baby
time.
oil. Yep. And then of course, if Michael Jackson enters, it would be Jesus juice for the little kids. Would you like drink some of the Jesus juice?
No, Bone Thugs and Harmony got to go.
Oh fuck, Bun. Come on, dude. You could have done so much better than that. That's
No,
shit.
I'm-
is shit.
No, I am
Get that
not.
shit out of
Yep.
here.
Bone Thugs and Harmony got to go.
Oh God, I had all respect in the world. Then you had to bring that trash in here. God, what a fucking ugh.
Nope.
I was having fun until you did that, man. That'd be like, who's the mumble rappers? Just
I don't know, but Bone Thugs and Harmony is just bad juju. I don't like them. They bring up bad memories in my life. So
Is it
no.
because they're black? Is that what happened?
Has nothing to do with that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Maria says baby oil. Nice for you, Maria. See, now we got people in. See, we need to do this more often so we get the people who are lurking. MJK says who?
Who's
So,
MJK?
I don't know. I don't know these people.
trying to
Think.
It's all rappers.
Machine Gun Kelly or some shit.
Oh, probably Machine.
But
no,
G is G. Machine
no.
Gun. Maybe he's Chinese. The Chinese version. Machine Gun Kelly. Oh, Machine Gun Kelly. My 7.62 millimeter. Oh, that's right. AK-47 makes a distinct sound when fired that can never be unrecognizable. Oh, Machine Gun Kelly. The only problem with shooting machine gun is that you want to do it again 30 minutes later.
It's white. He's a white rapper, and he's like engaged, not engaged, engaged, married, not married, engaged, not engaged to Megan Fox.
Megan Fox has 3 trans kids. You know that?
Yeah.
Do you know the odds of that?
Those are Brian Austin Green's
That's like
kids.
the odds of having 3 white trans kids is about as good as being a decent white rapper outside of Eminem.
Yeah, those are Brian Austin Green's kids. Now she is dating Machine Gun Kelly.
He says, I am MGK's twin. Well, not really, man, because you're white. And we had a black quota thing going on here, and then you had to screw it up. So now the ratio's broken. Is this all we get? This is the best we get with trolls now? I mean,
MGK was a Tennessee rapper.
okay, great. And Ben.
Oh, God. Yay.
Yay. What's going on, man?
Yay. What's up, dude?
What's up, Hal Hitler, Holmes? What's going on? Good to see you. Hate your song. You're fucking batshit crazy. Color of batshit in your cave is fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't like Yay. I don't like Yay at all. Yeah, not a big fan. I don't like his stupid ass song. Although the song's catchy, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the kids and I were eating, we all heard it, and I'm like, this is kind of catchy, isn't it? And they're like, yeah. Unfortunately, we can't sing along with it, or basically we'll be kicked out of school. I'm like, yeah. Why couldn't your special guest show up earlier?
Exactly.
I don't know. Bruce Broccoli. I'm a genius. Kanye's not a genius. Kanye just said, I'm sorry, Kanye, don't get mad at me. But you
That
basically.
was Kim K, Kanye.
That's what I was going to say. Dude, you named your kid Northwest. There's enough.
Yeah.
There's enough. Really? Second, you're not a genius.
You're freaking insane.
And second, you say you hadn't seen your kids and they took your kids from you. But I got photographs on multiple pages over the last 6 months where you've seen your kids like 7 or 8 times this year. So maybe it's just that you're filling the prototypical role of just not being around your kids and not taking care of them and being their dad. Not to be racist or anything. Drake comes in. I don't like Ye. I've heard there's not much you don't like, Drake, especially of the smaller persuasion of people. That's just what I've heard, allegedly.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar's here too.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, I should wake up Ethan. Ethan would be so stoked. Ethan and Hayden are big Kendrick Lamar
That
fans.
Super Bowl performance was interesting, to say the least. I would have rather had Vanilla Ice, somebody with some real rap skills.
Ice, baby.
Dun, 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 dun. Stop.
I'm showing my
collaborate, and listen. Is that all we got? Is that it? I can't believe
we're
getting trolled by famous. Is there anybody who I like? Like, do we have some Jethro Tull or
can we get actually some like good musicians?
Can you bring in Toad the Wet Sprocket or Def Leppard? Something
somebody who
good?
can actually sing. I don't know. Some talented people. Maybe?
Yeah, there's not many people on that list who can sing.
Not many people who are that great talented either. So maybe we.
Well, Mike Tyson was pretty fucking talented.
Well, he's a boxer. That's true. But
that was pretty talented. I mean, he was more than a boxer. Guy was a brawler. One of the most lethal uppercuts ever in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
It's because I had the biggest song last year, Kendrick Lamar.
He said 1 second. Who's coming out now? I'm waiting with bated breath to find out.
Dude, don't you ever leave our channel. Don't you ever leave our channel.
This is very, very entertaining. I love it.
It's fun. At least it's good trolls. They're not like the
stupid
groypers who are just, so cringe. Dude, do you want to have a conversation, a debate? Sure. Let me guess. Is it about Jews? Pink Floyd, last time I have all the chicken nuggets in the house. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you want to talk about something new? Sure, let's talk about Jews. Great. Groypers talking about Jews. That's
go figure. Go figure.
Who's
yeah,
there?
No females. Are we all sexist here?
Where's
Come
Whitney
on.
Houston? She's
Exactly.
still in the bathtub right now, or is she free?
God.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I was wrong.
Where the Village People at?
Well, there's only one black guy in Village People.
Oh,
Don't unfriend me. How about me? Nah, that's weak. You're just going to get yourself banned now. Now you're fucked because you're impersonating my account. See you, dude. That was uncalled for. I can't do that. Nope, you're gone. Sorry. You can apologize. I'm sorry. Get back on Mike Tyson. I'm sorry, or I'm going to ban you. You don't impersonate my account. Dude, I don't have enough traffic for you to do that. That's fucked up. You take my account. You're probably going to outpace me in a month. It's YouTube. Don't make me ban you. Now, say you're sorry and go to a new account. That's not what I asked for. I asked for Toad the Wet Sprocket, Def Leppard, Pink Floyd, Boston, Rush.
Eagles, Dire Straits.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of great bands you could do. I mean, we could even go into like Digital Underground, Sex Packets. You go into Cool Mo D, go into LL, Cool J.
Maybe some country.
Sure.
Keith,
We can do Hootie and the Blowfish.
Brad
and then
Paisley, Kenny Chesney.
Hootie would be good to see.
Who's Ava? Trying to figure that one out.
TSPMO, I'm cringing. I don't know who the fuck that is. You're slacking now. Now you're failing. Now you failed with the donut for me. Now this.
Why? Yeah, get some of the Village People out here. We can all do the YMCA.
Ozzy Osbourne has entered the chat.
Bats must leave.
You should put bats lose their heads.
Yeah. That would have been better.
One bite, everybody knows the rule. Oh my God, now Foreigner here. Foreigner? Where's Foreigner?
Where's Foreigner?
I gotta go. Guys, it's 10 o'clock. What are we doing?
Oh my gosh, it is 10.
Hurry
We
up,
said
troll.
We were gonna...
Hurry up, come up with something unique. You lost it with Ava and you lost it with the donut for anything. But I gotta ban the donut for anything. You can't impersonate me. So, dude, you don't have this. You don't have this.
You also don't have this.
This vanilla essence, you can't compete.
And you don't have this.
What?
Me.
I have that.
I know, but that person doesn't have me.
Well, we're willing to learn for the right amount of money.
Okay, I think it's just like the loosely plugged in. So anytime it's touched, I'm just gonna go and plug all of them in.
Is this a euphemism?
No. Hey, I wonder if the T-Rex from Night at the Museum can join us. I don't know. His arms might be too small to type, though.
Throw the bone. Aerosmith? Nah, I saw Aerosmith and Fiddler's Green. They sucked. Led Zeppelin? Yeah.
They must have left.
Is that it?
I think
that's the best we got. Scorpions. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
Ace of Base. Why not?
I saw the sign. If there was ever a need for auto-tune, that band, I went back and listened to this. Ooh, rough.
God, I used to love them when
It's
I
like
was
Katy-
younger. When I was
Katy Perry.
Hagen's age, I loved them.
I'm a firework.
Oh, God, she's horrible.
Well, some
She
songs.
can't- She has a hard time carrying a tune.
John Haggard says, I've been near death for almost 3 weeks. John, are you feeling any better, dude? I mean, I've tried to keep up. Are you feeling any better? I know it's been rough. You're the last person we're talking to, and we're getting the hell out of here. Unless Def Leppard comes on. Def Leppard comes on, and we're fine. See, you know what's also fun about trolls? They give up too easy.
Pink Floyd's here. There we go.
Where?
He just joined the chat.
Sick as a bastard. John, I hope you feel better, dude. I'm sorry. Pink Floyd, hi. What's up? Is that Floyd? That picture?
I don't know.
I can't see it. Looks more like Crosby.
The bare naked ladies, yeah. You just want to see feet pics, Debbie. That's
Debbie
all
got
you
to
want.
see me in my sandals, and she's like, said something like I'm spent or something. She's like, I don't know what's going on here.
You need to go drink some milk there, Debbie.
There's some ugly feet. I mean, seriously. Like, I got a foot fetish. I don't get it. Like, my feet, they just look like I've seen some vultures that have picked apart carcasses that have sexier feet than mine. All right, folks, we're out of here. REO Speedwagon. I'm making the turn. Good, John. Keep us up to date. All right, folks. There's your bonus. There's your overtime.
Thank you for the donation.
I've never worked for so little.
Princess Bride?
Yeah, Princess Bride.
Okay, that's
I've
right.
never worked for so little.
That's the
And I once worked for an MLT, mutton and lettuce tomato sandwich where the mutton is nice and lean.
I tried my best. Sorry, I'm not the best in trolling today.
Well, we like you. You're good. You can stay.
Arita, is that your actual name?
I don't know who
Or-
it is, but either way, you can stay. You're good. We like you.
I don't really spam. I just try to keep it respectful.
You're doing fine.
It was
You
great.
know what?
It was very
It's fun.
entertaining.
It was fun. It was good.
Just no more bone thugs and Harvey. Seriously.
Yeah, don't know that shit. That's got to
no,
stop.
seriously. Yeah.
And delete the Donut From Me account. Don't you dare. Yes. But otherwise, you're good. Listen, our channel on YouTube is really small. They have censored us to a point where they deleted our channel that was actually halfway decent. So we get our modest 16 to 45 people on, and we love them. And Facebook does the same thing to us, and we don't care. So you need to stop by and continue to visit us.
Yes.
So, all right, folks. Thanks for watching the Donut From Me Show. See you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything. We're excited to see you. John, get better. Jared, don't take it personal. You know, it can only be Jared. I don't know if you guys know those commercials. We're out of here. Good night, everybody. God bless. Thanks for, remember, alcohol is a poison and a toxin.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.